Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another Tuesday night edition of Gaming After Dark, your adult-focused entertainment podcast of the evening. I'm your host, the one and only Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom. It's Snoof Nukem in the room, and with me as well is my amazing, loud, rambunctious, sometimes obnoxious, but yes, he is the lovable, the one, the only, the Titan Drago.
What's up, everyone? G Fuel flavor of the week, Maiden's Blood. Okay, I haven't tried it. But it's freaking, they already came out with a G Fuel flavor based on Resident Evil 8. That's how fucking cool G Fuel is, man. If you haven't tried it, freaking do it, man. Do yourself a favor. Other than that, I have been hooked, Noof, on a 6.0 meta scored game called Crossroads Inn. Anyone played it? Let me know. Let me know what you think about it.
Nope.
6.0. We'll talk about a little bit more about Metacritic and reviewers later, but let's get it started, eh?
Absolutely. Just a side note, in case you guys missed it in the social media DMs and stuff, that Mag will not be here tonight. The middle-aged game guy is a little bit under the weather and not feeling 100%, so he will not be here. And that also means Tony Baloney won't be here either. So, yeah, sad news, but he will be back in fine form next week, guys, and we appreciate your patience and everybody coming out. Before I get to my amazing special guest for the night, because we got a double dose of awesomeness for you, let's catch up with the chats, and especially the super chat, because coming in loud and clear, it's the one, the only BarkBox himself, Mr. Doggy Dog 420. He drops $1.99. Good evening, panel and chat. Yes, thank you, Doggy Dog. Appreciate it. And my good buddy, right here from Alberta, Canada, Mr. Free Jack is in the house. What's going on, brother Free Jack? Sad day for us. Our Edmonton Oilers are gone from the playoffs, swept away in 4 straight games with the Winnipeg Jets. Played a hell of a series, though. 3 overtime games, tight as it could be, but just came up on the wrong end. So, yes, we are mourning today as our team gets bounced from the NHL playoffs. Free Jack dropping $20 in the house. He says, question for the panel, if the boss is okay with it. RV camping this summer, Xbox One X set as the home Xbox in offline mode, or break out the 360 and disc? And we'll answer that question in just a moment. Let's introduce our fantastic guests, the double duo from the Living Split Screen podcast, not to mention a bunch of other podcasts, but we're going to stick with that one. We got the one, the only Steel Rain is in the house.
Yes, sir. It is I am him, the one and only Steel Rain, one half of the Living Split Screen morning show that you can catch live every Saturday morning. And look, man, New sent out the call, Arnie sent out the call, and I had to go back in time and kill the Terminator and whatnot. But I'm back just in time to be here live, raw, and uncut in the Gaming After Dark Kingdom. And Noof, Drago, I appreciate you for welcoming us on. And let's get to these topics, man. Let's have a fantastic night.
And his co-panel from Living Split Screen, man with a punch of charisma and super knowledgeable. He's also been a fantastic supporter of not only this podcast, but a lot of community members. It's the one, the only, Pong Soul.
Thanks a lot, Noof. I appreciate it. Awesome to be back here. And tonight you've got me on with my brother from another, Steel Rain. So I am so excited to be here with you and Titan. I was kind of concerned though, Noof. You put out that post and I kept seeing all these likes and all these comments. A lot of people were happy that Mag isn't on tonight. It's kind of weird. It's kind of strange, man.
Don't be surprised.
What did you do?
No one likes him anyway. It's okay.
Nah, just kidding. I love you, Mag. Sorry you couldn't be here tonight, brother. But anyways, great show, great topics. Obviously got a lot to dive into. E3 is coming. The storm is on the horizon. You can feel it. We're starting to get leaks. We're starting to get all kinds of talk. So happy to be here at Gaming After Dark. And let's get down to it, Noof.
No one likes Mag since he got his balls cut off.
Oh, God.
I'm half the man I used to be.
That's a good song.
Oh, boy. We should have had the burn episode tonight. Pong's already roasting some nuts on the fire. How about that?
There you go.
He just knocked him out of my corner. All right. I like it.
Mag's voice has already gone up an octave. Go easy on him, man. Let's get to the chat real quick because we have got an incredible list of MVPs here as always. Spider-Man 356, Assassin Lupa is in the house.
Hey, Assassin Lupa, can we just shorten that name of him? Just call you Ass Lupa? Okay?
Oh, Ass Loops. How about that, Ass Loops?
Let me know in the chat, Lupa.
I can hear her now in her accent. Titan Drago, you fucking asshole.
Oh, I'm gonna fuck up that Titan Drago
That is
now.
funny.
There might be a little bit more swearing than that
Yes.
even.
For fuck's sake, Titan Drago, do I have to come back on this show and kick your ass?
Hey, she probably fucking will. too.
I wasn't on the show when she came on. Was she?
That's
Was
funny.
I? Was that the one I
No.
missed?
I think that's the one you missed.
I think
Yeah.
that's the one I missed.
Yeah. Oh, she can give it to you. She gave it to Meg. She's the first one to put Tony Baloney in his fucking chair.
True story. True story. That was awesome.
It was fucking great. We got Joey Kidd in the house. Tryhard fan making his first trip back to the chat in a while. What's going on, Tryhard? Prophets in the house. Tick killing balls. Matty Burns. What's going on? Yes, Crispy Rambo is up in here. Yes, what's going on, Crispy? Joe Dunmore.
Dunmore.
Oscar Repair is here. Thanks for being here, guys. Legacy Spider-Man is here. Who else we got? Cyber Gunter is in the house. What's going on, Cyber? Glad to see you, Marlesco. I think we caught up with most people. Death the Kid. What's happening? Ryan Galloway's in the house, my good buddy. What's going on, Ryan Galloway? How you doing today? He is also like me. He's probably crying some tears in the corner. Oh, the one, the only, the man from the We Bleed Green podcast, Dirt Griggity, is in the house. He dropping $5. What's good, y'all? Good to see Living Split Screen up in here tonight. So there you go. It sounds like we got some great supporters of that podcast in the house.
Much
Good
love,
stuff.
much love.
And Masshole. Masshole is here. Yes, he's going for the Bruins. Yeah, not a bad pick. They might go all the way again there. Masshole. Deathmobile, what's going on? Jesse Darby, what's
What
happening?
a masshole.
I don't know, I love that name, man. You fucking
Yeah.
asshole. HTK 360, what's going on? HTK, Boogeyman, Caitlin, Shizno Elite. That
Yeah.
probably means Mav is not too far behind. There you go. Kylo Milo, what's going on tonight? All right, guys, let's get right into the show. We got a few topics, and hopefully we can try to keep this one under the 2-hour limit. No promises, but we'll do our damn best. First off and foremost, guys,
Promise me, man. I'm trying to get laid before I crash out tonight.
There you go.
Oh, okay. So he just immediately disappears. We know what's going on, eh?
Hey, I don't blame you.
That's why he was stuffing his face with fucking energy drinks and pizza earlier. He's trying to get his stamina up.
He's carb loading. Jesus.
Right. That's right. I gotta make my stomach work, or otherwise I'm gonna take a nap, fall asleep.
Yes.
I didn't have no nap today.
As long as you don't shit the bed. Hey, we got Toolman in the house, Princess Zelda. We got Dreadpool. Dreadpool, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. First topic, guys, Biomutant, which is probably what Titan's going to be tonight after he eats all that crap and then gets into bed. He'll be a bio something or another. A bio web.
Oh god.
So all I can say, like, I don't know enough about the game. I've seen all the trailers. The game looks absolutely phenomenal. It looks like an absolute ton of fun. I love the graphic and the art style and the wacky sort of semi-realistic characters and the crazy, corny enemies and everything else. The enemy variety looks really cool. The environments look large and sprawling and gives me that Breath of the Wild kind of vibe with only obviously much more lush and stuff like that. I mean, for a team of 20 people, it looks like they knocked this out of the park. Now, however, as always, and like I said, give as much weight as you feel you need to. The Metacritic scores are coming out, and to be quite honest with you guys, I'm a little shocked and disappointed because it's a little bit lower than I had kind of deemed this game. I figure this game, just based on what I saw, might be something that would kind of automatically end up in that, you know, at least the 78 to 84 kind of range, and being down to 68, you know, it still holds its own. But why?
Okay, so what? Well, hold on. Let me stop you there. What is the main factor of that? Why?
Well, that's what I'm going to ask you guys. Do you think it's a game related thing? Do you think part of the scores are largely due to that backlash we saw days prior to, where we saw a large portion of the community, at least one side of the community, really upset that Biomutant was not running in full 4K on their platform of choice? And if you look at the Metacritic scores, it is the lowest on PlayStation for some odd reason. Highest being Xbox, second highest being PC, and then PlayStation. So I'll let you guys take the floor. Like I'm excited for the game. I know a lot of people are in the chat. If you've bought Biomutant or plan on buying Biomutant, guys in the chat and gals, put a one for buying it or got it, and 2, you couldn't care less. And also, I'd love to hear from people in the chat. How much does that Metacritic score? Has it changed your mind? If not, great. If it has changed your mind, I definitely would love to hear from you, because that's the kind of stuff that you worry about as a game buyer that you might have had this game on your radar and then all of a sudden go, oh shit, like that's kind of low now, so I think I'm going to hold off and wait. So we're going to find out. So we got a lot of ones in the chat already. Let's get over. We'll start with my co-panel member, Mr. Titan Drago, because it sounds like he's chomping at the bit to give his take on this.
Yeah, I'm glad you came to me first on this one. I actually tweeted about it today, and I think you liked it as well. So I think you saw it. But I talking about what you said disappointed. Well, I'm disappointed, but not surprised, right? I think Biomutant 68 meta. So I talked about in my intro how I'm hooked on a 60 meta game right now, right? Like today, I've been playing it the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, pretty much nonstop if I haven't been playing Smite. But this whole thing is the exact reason for my tweet about a summer project that I'm going to be working on this summer, because game reviewers are attacked all the time, right? By like they're sometimes justly, and some, probably most of the time is the fanboys, right? From each side, no matter which way they go. But my vision is this, okay? What if we took as much opinion out of the review as possible? It's going to be more like a checklist system kind of much.
You mean like the old days? The old days did that.
Well, other than that, we got to make sure we're not comparing apples to oranges in games as well. We cannot be comparing, a first-person shooter to a freaking MOBA, or like they got to stay in there. Like it's freaking 2021, people, and we're not like, we're comparing apples and oranges still when it comes to video games. But so taking as much opinion out is huge. And I'm going to read my tweet now. So what does it say here? Game reviewers need a much more structured approach to alleviate gripes, complaints, differences of opinion. My goal is to create a uniform method for specific game types, right? So we're not comparing first-person shooters to whatever, like I don't know, freaking a simulator game or something. It's retarded to group it all up into one uniform garbage score, and that's what it really is. It's a freaking garbage score. Like, how much of a percentage do you think these scores from Metacritic are from the absolute losers that got nothing better to do in life but create, 1,000 bot accounts, and create everyone havoc? And it's just like they got, they can do whatever they want online because, a bot account gets banned, you load up the next one. But what do you guys think about, because we need something to go off of with Meta. Meta just doesn't work for anyone. Who does Meta work for?
This is good stuff. Steel, you remember we had this conversation, bud?
Yeah, we definitely did.
This was one of my rants, brother.
Yeah, no.
All right, go for it. Let's hear it again.
Go ahead, Pong.
All right, so no, Titan, you were exactly on point in all ways, shapes, and forms. That is exactly what is needed. I talked about this during Living Split Screen. This is again, we're talking about arbitrary opinions when it comes to reviews. And I think that we have the ability to create some type of certified review process, okay? Something that gives people who do like reviews. Now, again, personally for me, I could give a flying F about any reviewer's opinions. Now, do I have certain reviewers that I go to that I trust, that I seem to have similar tastes? If I am looking at kind of, gauging a game, absolutely, of course I do. But at the end of the day, if I think a game's going to be fun, I'm going to buy it. I bought Biomutant. I pre-ordered it. Okay. Back in the day, a 68, a near 7. When did 7 become bad? I don't understand this. Yes. At what point did this change that all of a sudden a 7 is now considered trash, according to some people, right? This is ridiculous. But I think, Titan, to your point, that there has to be some kind of certified review system where we get back to what you were talking about. Now, if you remember back in the day in the magazines, back in the old days, Titan, we used to get that breakdown. Technically breakdown, like Game Informer. I remember when they used to break down. Remember they used to have different parts of the game, whether it was graphics, story. They used to rate each one of those and then give you an overall score. Back in the day, they used to have reviewers review games out of genres that they enjoyed or that they were good at, that they knew. Right now you have all these reviewers sitting around with nothing better to do, and they go into a meeting and it seems like, hey, who wants to review the new Call of Duty? And the guy, the guy who likes farming simulators raises his hand. I got nothing to do. I'll go ahead and review it. Right. Right. And he doesn't play first person shooters. He doesn't play any kind of competitive games, and he's out here reviewing Call of Duty now. That's the kind of stuff that has happened to the review industry. And my point is that if they want to, again, journalists in general, in this industry and elsewhere, have lost a ton of credibility over the years, a ton. It's because that they have gone to this more opinion-based writing, this clickbait writing versus actually giving us the facts and allowing the readers to make the end, whatever their impression is going to be. That's what they're the ones that are supposed to be making the end opinion on it. But you're supposed to give us the straight facts, and they're no longer doing that. So I definitely think there's enough talent out there. There's a big enough talent pool in the world of gaming journalists right now that you could find some people who have been around, have a track record of giving quality reviews still to this day in certain genres that they know well. And I think you could definitely put a group of people together that you could kind of certify whatever you want to do it, and put that out as the official reviews. And I think this is doubly important because now you have publishers that are giving bonuses to their devs based upon reviews.
Yeah.
Can you freaking imagine waking up to your game knowing that you have to put out this game, this pride of yours? You created this game that you love, and you're expecting it to score 8s and 9s, and you're planning on that bone for your family, and all of a sudden you got a bunch of people who decided that they wanted to review this game and they had no interest in your game anyways, and all of a sudden they're giving your game 6s and 7s, and now all of a sudden you're missing out on that bonus. That's bullshit, right? That's pure bullshit. And so I think from a developer standpoint, I think it would be great as well to kind of have some type of unified process for this.
Well, and also to become a reviewer, like, what does it take, right?
Right.
Like anyone can just,
right.
You got, and that's got to go too. Like,
right.
I can't wait to finish this up because
yeah,
what currently is out there review wise, it doesn't work. I'd say for 95% of the population.
Right. And you got people out there that were trying to get into journalism elsewhere, like let's say political journalism, and just couldn't make it. So what's left over? They go into game journalism, right? So you got these people that are half interested in gaming or not interested at all, but they're in a place where they never wanted to be, writing about stuff that they never really want to be writing about. And what do you get? You get these half-baked, clickbait, opinion-based articles, and all they're looking for is to make a name for themselves instead of actually providing the reader quality content and helping a reader that does use reviews to make a better decision.
Well, the thing is, and you guys can weigh in this and certainly get Steel and Pong and everybody in. How many of these games do you legitimately think, honestly, that some of these reviewers are completing, like getting all the way through, or at least 80 to 90% through the game? Because, a lot of times these reviewers only get these games a week prior to the launch, maybe 2 weeks if they're lucky. And we know that some of these games can easily take 40, 50, 60, 100 hours. And as I was saying earlier, I don't, with my job and podcasting and everything else, I find it hard to get time to play these games. Maybe that's what they do for a living. I get that. Perhaps that's the only way around it. With a game like Resident Evil 8, I can totally see a lot more legitimate reviews because the game technically, if you're half sensible at it, you can beat it in a decent time limit. But something like Biomutants or Assassin's Creeds and all these games that take, even if you're plowing through the main story, can easily take you 40 plus hours to finish. So how much of these people are actually finishing the game to give it a legitimate and fair view? Because we've seen lots of games in the past that start out a little bit slow, and even Cyberpunk, for example, like I'm well over 20 hours in that game. I haven't even cracked the surface of it. You know what I mean? So how do you guys feel about that? Do you think that's part of the equation in here?
I definitely think that's part of the equation. But just to kind of piggyback off of what y'all were saying too about the whole Biomutant, for me, I've never taken Metacritic scores seriously. I feel like as a gamer, as somebody, as someone who's been playing games for a long time, and just being, I would say, quote unquote, an adult overall, I would imagine that you will have a opinion yourself for what you're into or what you may not be into. Just for the example in Biomutant, once I saw the gameplay, and I was, they were putting out the trailers and everything else. I was already 100% invested. As someone who is a fan of gameplay styles like Devil May Cry, who not necessarily, I've never been hands-on with Breath of the Wild, but I have played. What was the other game that was similar to that just came out recently?
Phoenix Rising.
Genshin Impact.
Genshin Impact. Yeah.
Phoenix Rising also. I'm also a fan of those games also. So when I saw the gameplay and everything, I was already invested. So I already made my decision at that point. What I don't get, and I'll tie it into the whole review process thing too. But what I don't get is when people downplay a game, again, like you guys were saying, that they weren't interested in anyway, or why people hold so much weight on Metacritic itself. The whole point of Metacritic, and I completely agree with y'all that we do need to come up with a way to redefine the rating structure. Again, if they're going to use it to base people's paychecks off of and everything else, then there definitely needs to be a more uniform form for accuracy purposes. But for me, Metacritic has always been like a basis. This is what I'll use to kind of give me a base if I'm interested in looking at that. But overall, it's like any game that comes out, there's, especially nowadays, it's easy to go look at a trailer. It's easy to go look at some gameplay. It's easy to, look at a review from your favorite reviewer or whatever the case, for those people who you take, whose opinions you take seriously, and then make an educated decision on what you want to do. And like we were talking about a little bit in the background, is this a game that could have been in Game Pass and would have been very beneficial? Sure. But at the same time, not everything can be in Game Pass. Right. And also at that same time, you don't have to, like, everything doesn't have to be there. Sometimes you have to invest. And as a gamer, you should be able to make that decision to either be fully invested or not. If you're on the fence, wait for the sale, wait for the reviews, wait for whatever you need to wait for to help you guarantee whatever that hard-earned cash that you're willing to spend is going to be spent on. You know what I mean? And that's my biggest thing. This whole review thing and people taking it to heart and taking it so serious is so absurd to me, because it shows me people aren't confident in themselves and what they stand for as gamers, but you decide that you want to be involved in the gaming community. And that's a problem to me, because all you're doing is giving these reviewers like a backing. You're giving them clout, as they say, as a lot of people use. You're giving them energy to feed off of and getting those clicks. That's all they want anyway. The best thing that we can do is say, like Drago was saying, it takes someone to go outside of the circle and say, hey, we need to come up with something different. So we can get, like, for example, I don't know if you guys read Ainsley review, Porsche Power, on Twitter. And he had an excellent review that was completely spoil free and basically broke down everything that he enjoyed about the game. Now that's somebody, and I only bring him up because he's somebody that whose opinion I could take very seriously. And I know that he, as a gamer, I know that he has a wide knowledge of gaming, and he's been doing it for such a long time, and he's not necessarily quote unquote biased per se. But again, there's so many variables that feed into that. I just don't get why so many people hold. I do, but then I don't, because again, like we were talking about back in the day, yes, like when I was younger, to see when you opened up an IGN or opened up a Game Informer, or you went to different websites, you saw that number rating that the game got. You were like, all right, well, the game is decent, good, or it was bad if it got a low rating. And then you kind of do your own research after that. But then it was like what I was saying before, you just kind of have to make your own decisions on what you feel is going to be beneficial to you. Not every game is for every gamer. Shout out to Boom. But it's a true fact. And that's just something we have to keep in mind. So
absolutely great thoughts coming in from Rain and Pong Soul on this topic. Well, everybody, as a matter of fact, everybody had some great points in there, and like I said, guys, at the end of the day, make up your own mind. Don't let anybody else make it up for you. If it's a game that you're really interested in, you think it falls into the kind of genres that you like, it's definitely worth a try. Just make calculated decisions with your money. And like I said, only 20 people made this game. And of course, they were probably trying to finish it up again during COVID, which has taken up the best part of well over a year now of our lives. So, cut them some slack. And, it seems like an interesting little game that definitely should try. It's got a lot of influences in there. Everything from, like I said, Breath of the Wild to Ratchet and Clank.
right.
You name it. A little platforming, a little action, a little shooting. A little bit of everything. So Biomutant, I definitely think it looks like a game that's at least worth your time, worth trying out. And if you're able to do so, go give it a shot and make that decision. We got a super chat coming in from Monster 530. He drops $1.99. Great panel tonight. New cheers to you guys. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate it. Hey, Eternal Shaddai's in the house. Failed Pyromancer. Anthony Chipmunk. Six Slayers here. What's going on, Slick? Good to see you guys. Man, good crew here. Boogeyman still hanging out with us. We had a good comment coming in here. Lots of living split screen fans in the house. Emmanuel A1. What's going on, guys? Yeah, there was one I was going to highlight, but I can't see where it is. But yes, hey, Mav is here. Mr. Fun Speculation. Got to get him back on the show at some point.
There you go.
AP Cool J, what's going on? Gaming After Dark used to talk about pussy and dick. What happened?
There's still plenty of those thrown in throughout the mix.
We haven't got to that point yet. AP Cool J, give us time, man.
We're still a gaming podcast too, right?
Yeah.
We do talk about gaming sometimes.
That's right. We mix all that in there. Right? You know what to say, man.
Like a sex stew in here.
You got to kiss the girl on the neck before you put your hands down her pants. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it takes lots of ingredients.
Takes lots of ingredients.
Jesus.
What the fuck are you doing, Titan?
What the
I'm still talking about my stew.
Oh, is that what you give the girls when you're on the date? The stew?
Wow. See, he trapped us into it, Noof. He trapped us. He set we fell for that shit.
Fuck AP. Now the show's off the rails. The train is derailed.
Shit.
Oh man, good stuff. Oh man, good. Yes. All right. Our next topic, I think, is going to be a little bit on the heavier side. I think we're all going to have lots to say on it. Spit on her back and call it a night, says Pyro.
You should spit on a bag and call it a night.
I don't know what kind of date you've been on, Pyro, but oh shit. Who's talking about who?
At least I'm not hearing about dates from the doctor.
Hey, give it time. The doctor might be. See, Chef Trouble's here. Chef Trouble.
There you go.
Little lady in the house. That means the doctor might be around here with his anal probe fascination.
That dude's got a problem.
Oh yes, every question revolves around going up the trench. I'm telling you.
If you like it, I love it, right?
Hey, Chef Trouble. Now that he lost, his 2 berries, is it harder to stay balanced when you're on top?
Ooh.
Wow.
Just curious myself,
Goes down for the old
physics of it all.
Well, you go down for the old BJ and you're like, hey, your testicles remind me of my grandmother's tits. They don't stay joined.
She's like, good to see you, and she gets hit with that. My grandmother used to break her legs a lot. Why is that? Because she kept tripping in her titties. All right, Crimey, let's bring this show back on the track here. Good Lord.
Let's get it back on let's get over. Let's do the Ask Arnold segment now, because I think our next topic is going to be it's probably going to take up the bulk portion of the show. So if you guys got any question for Arnold, let's get them out of the way. A couple fast ones in here, and then we'll move on to the Xbox E3 predictions.
Oh, hey, Arnold, Steel Rain in his intro, man, talked about killing Terminator. What's up with that, man?
Look, Steel Rain, he's got the charisma, he's got the jive. He's going to come out there and skin these assholes alive. He's going to take it to the street. He's going to bring the heat. He's got a fucking gun that's bigger than your meat. So that's what he's going to do. Steel Rain, he's going to get the job done. I will send him into the future. He will find all these motherfuckers. He will get Sarah Connor. He's going to get the whole work. Steel Rain's going to be the next Terminator. He's going to do a great job of it. I can see him now. It's like, I'm live and ready to go. Let's go. Let's bring it. I'm going to kick your ass. Now get it out there, drop your pants, and get ready for my boot.
That's hilarious.
Who else we got going on here? We got any more questions? Anybody, the guests? Anybody in the chat?
Hey, Arnie, why aren't you, why don't you have a voice in Biomutant?
Because these guys don't know a really good actor when they see one. Then they could have easily come to me. I'm not doing a whole lot these days. I'm just at home with the donkeys, and I'm ready to come in there. But I just don't know what character they would have had me for. If I'd have been a sidekick, or I could have took over the character, wouldn't that have been cool? I mean, I should have been in Mass Effect. I could have been like Commander Shepard, and I could have been doing all the voices. Be like, "You want to get on the Normandy, you big blue bitch? Go, do it." Get out of here. Stop using your biotics on me. Come on. At least make my bones float and my dick bigger. Come on, do it.
Bio Arnold.
I don't know if it's just me or not, but like that is Arnold's voice to me. Like when I go out, and watch a YouTube video or something, or watch a Terminator movie, like I'm not gonna buy that it's his voice anymore. Like I've been hearing Noob for so long now. He is Arnold to me now.
That's a fact.
Hey, Mav's got one in the chat.
Mav.
On speculation. Don't look for Mav.
Arnie, why was Last Action Hero so bad?
What the hell are you talking about? Fun speculation. It's not bad. It's a great movie. Heck, you're going to have the last podcast ever. That's what you're going to have. The last action podcast. I'm going to come over there and take over your show. That's what I'm going to do. And they're going to put you back in your hole. That's where you're going to go. That's what you're going to do. Now, stop Reagan. The Last Action Hero was a great movie. I was in it, and that's all you need to know. It was the kid that ruined the whole movie. It was great. We even had the guy in there who played the villain. He's the guy that was in Game of Thrones. He played, the Lannister dude, the guy who got killed on the toilet. That's what I'm going to do with you, ma'am. I'm going to kill you on the toilet.
Gone mad. You ain't not right. Man, I could barely follow that with how many beers I've had. I mean, you ain't not right. I'm lost.
What?
Funny.
Well, then one more question. Who we got?
Let's see.
I think we got one from Fastback's in the chat. What's going on, Fastback?
Hey, Arnold, do you have total recall of Starfield for E3?
Absolutely. Starfield, we will see it at E3. That is almost a guarantee. We just need more dates, Microsoft. More dates. Okay? It's like telling me you're going to have this hot chick come over to your house, but you never know when she's going to show up. That's what we've been waiting on hot chicks from Microsoft for like ever now. Come on, we want dates. I need to know you're showing up at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. I don't care if you're late, but I've got to make time to masturbate. So you got to give me a time, get the dates right, get the shit off your pants, get it in there. Come on, get the show on the road. We want to see some games at E3, Microsoft. I want to see Starfield. I want to see Battlefield. I want to see grass on the field, shit on the yield, whatever it is. Bring it. I want to see it. All of that on E3. I want you to blow my mind. I want you to blow off my socks. I want to be there. I want to be crying. I want to be laughing. I want to get excited. I want to have a giant video game boner that looks like an Xbox logo. Come on, let's do it. Let's get it done.
Did anyone else during that did anyone else during that think that he was gonna like start singing, "We're gonna rock around the clock tonight"?
Oh,
I'm sure you were gonna do
We're gonna
that.
rock around the clock tonight. Rock it all night.
It's funny, I can see his facial expressions. Oh my God.
We're gonna rock, and make it right. We're gonna rock around your clock tonight.
Last one, Arnie, real quick. Sharon Stone or Jamie Lee Curtis?
Well, both in the prime. I take them both. Why have to separate them? You take them both. You know, I get warmed up. Sharon Stone, she crossed the legs like she did back in Basic Instinct. And Jamie Lee Curtis, you remember with her when she was with me in True Lies. Honest to God, I had. She wanted to make me tell lies. I really wanted to sleep with her. She was fantastic. What a body! What a great woman she was. Now she's kind of older. She looks like she did in Halloween and the newer one. Oh, Hagrid. I don't know.
I thought maybe you like Sharon Stone kicking your ass in Total Recall. She got some good hits on you.
No, that's okay though. I want the three-titted woman. More boobs, less hands. Not a good combination, but yes, let's do the math. Let's get it.
I can do that math for you. 2/3. Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing, Titan? Stop with the fractions. I don't like it.
No math.
I didn't even bring in positive or negative integers yet, man.
Fractions, integers, ratios. What the fuck is that shit? You don't use it anyway. Who use that?
Hey, Arnold, it's your cousin Ernie. Why are my muscles so much bigger than yours?
It sounds like you got the really bad case of hemorrhoids. That's the only thing that's bigger than mine.
It's because you don't show me love anymore, Arnie.
If you want to love, all you got to do is break the law. They give you lots of that love in the prison. Go.
Well, maybe that's why they called me back for Terminator, not you, Arnold. Huh? Ernie gets the role.
You're going to be the T0. That's what you're going to be in fucking prison. They're going to string you up with the balls and fuck you in the bum is what they're going to do.
It's more than just a number. It's a symbol. It's the T hole. Enter here.
Yes. All right, guys. Great stuff from Arnold. We're almost halfway through the show, so let's get into the next topic of the night. We're going to bust that one out early because we're going to go probably in on this one. We are getting very close to Xbox E3. Obviously, they're not going to be doing it in a traditional sense, but they will, I'm sure, have a good show. And we've seen lots of speculation and lots of sort of rumors and everything else. And we've been seeing lots of headlines. Should we temper our expectations? That is really the question. So let's go with our guests, and then we'll get to Titan and myself. We'll start with either Steel or Pong. You guys can flip a card for this one. Xbox E3. What do you think we'll see? What would you like to see? And should we temper those expectations?
I guess I'll start off first. I mean, I know Pong might have some things to say. I know he's extremely excited about E3 overall. But it's probably going to be along the same lines because personally, I don't temper my expectations for E3, man. I'm always going into it expecting the most, and again, if I come out disappointed, I come out disappointed. But a lot of the times, ever since I was younger, man, and I've always wanted to go to E3, and E3 is like a lot of people say it's kind of like the gamer Super Bowls. You look forward to every year just to see the magic that happens at E3. The games, the trailers, the just and the outlook on what can come out in the future. For me, I feel like as a gamer, man, it's hard not to be excited, right? I want to see Halo Infinite. I want to see Forza Horizon come out. I want to see what is the roadmap that Xbox is going to place forward, and these are the things that I'm expecting from Xbox. And it's one of those things to where if I was going to temper my expectations, how can I really be excited for this? And I know it's kind of hard because over the years, we get so people that be so involved in the community, whatever, you're plugged into these different people and they're letting you know behind the scenes what could or could not happen. So you're already you're trying to set yourself a standard of what could happen. And then you go into it, and you're like, oh man, they didn't show the new Fight Night. And you're like, damn it, that's all I wanted. So for me, one of the bigger things that I'm really hoping for to see at E3 is I'm really hoping that Halo Infinite shows very well. Again, I'm looking for Halo to just be an excellent Halo. For 343 to kind of prove to everybody why they can continue to support the game the way that they're supporting it. I don't know if everybody else has been involved with the MCC collection. Well, I should say Master Chief Collection. I'm saying MCC is kind of like double on time. It's like saying it twice, but I feel like over the years, I know in the beginning it was very rocky for 343 when they released the MCC, and now I believe after the first couple of years, they got everything in order. And you go in to play those games, and they're beautiful. They play very smoothly. And again, they've constantly they're constantly bringing out updates. I believe here recently they're dropping more armors, more maps, and they're just constantly getting that support. So it's like obviously 343 has the passion for it. So I really just want to see Halo present very well. I want to see Elden Ring. That was what I was trying to think about earlier. I want to see Elden Ring. That's one of the ones that, as a Souls fan, I want to see what they're going to bring going into the next generation. Forza Horizon is something, as a Forza fan, just overall, I've been playing Forza since the Forza Motorsport 2. And I'm a simulation racer, so it's one of those games where I sink thousands of hours into and just get lost in that world, pretending like I'm the greatest race car driver that has ever existed. Get my Vin Diesel on, as just to say. But I guess more so, I guess that would really be it, man. I mean, this E3, if any, I would tell people, hey man, don't temper your expectations. Be excited, be amped up. And if you get disappointed, you get disappointed. I mean, it's kind of the gamble that you take as a gamer, because you never know what could happen. I'm sure we could listen to all these these journalists and people that report on these things all we want, but can we take their words as truth? And for some of them, it could be 80-20, and then others it's like it's 20-80. So it's just putting everything into perspective, and just kind of like what I was saying earlier with the whole Biomutant thing. Just look for the games that you're already excited for. Anticipate games that you haven't heard anything about, and maybe in some time, and then just carry things forward. Just be excited for it,
Steele, do you think that Microsoft drops any bombs on us this year in terms of, hey, we're requiring a new studio, or something kind of really out of the blue here?
If they drop any bombs, I know they're still looking at publishers. One of the biggest bombs that I would want them to drop at E3 is the acquisition of WB. The main reason for that is because we need an icon. If it's not going to be a Sega or whatever, because that's my other option too. Because I really feel like Sonic is a slept on icon that for some reason nobody wants to acknowledge for real. And we'll see how that goes. I know they're doing a Sonic event this I believe this Thursday on the 27th and or whatnot. So we'll see how that goes. But for me, it's really WB, because if Sony is going to have the rights to, not necessarily, I'm not going to say the rights. If Sony's going to have a Spider-Man game, then why can't we have a Batman game? That's how I look at it. Batman is like the one hero, if any, that I really adore from the DC side, and to bring him in and that whole universe of Gotham and all the villains, that would be extremely substantial, and it would definitely be a huge bullet to fight that Spider-Man train. Because again, you could say, hey, well, if you get your PlayStation for Spider-Man, you can get your Xbox for Batman, or just be invested in that ecosystem for either character. That's what I'd be excited for. Maybe to see Matt Boone maybe get on Killer Instinct, really put his Mortal Kombat chops into a fighting genre on our side, our side, but on the Xbox side, and that's what I would be looking for as far as WB goes, along with the other titles, because they have a lot of things down the pipeline. And I feel like if anybody could do them right and that has the pockets to do it, it would definitely be Microsoft. And I wouldn't want to see WB go to the likes of Google, Amazon, Tencent, or anybody else that may not be fully invested in the gaming, as far as like knowing what the gamers may want in the long run. So that would be my pick.
Do you think that Sony is also potentially trying to get another, say, major licensed property for their portfolio? Because I think after seeing what Spider-Man legitimately did for their hardware sales and games in general, beginning Spider-Man basically is probably now their biggest selling first party release of all of their titles, which is saying something considering the quality of God of War and The Last of Us and those games. And when Spider-Man goes out and outsells those, do you think that Sony might also be like, maybe maybe we're on to something here when we should probably lock up another property, and we can't say it is not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility. But let's be honest, I don't necessarily think that Sony has the capital that's necessary to make that kind of a big purchase. I feel like it's gotten to the point where even Marvel has said it themselves. They're not going to exclusively hold off a character to any specific console anymore. If it's not going to be a cross-platform thing, if they can't put it everywhere, they're not going to cut the deal. So it's... Could they do it? Sure. I mean, but they'd have to reach deep down in their pockets. And I don't think that's necessarily an investment that they're willing to make at this point. For Sony, I feel like they're going to more so run with what they know as far as their heavy hitters go. Again, we see with games like Horizon, they're coming out with, gameplay this week to really get that hype train started. And then it moves on to God of War. And then it goes on goes on and so forth from there. To see them make another big purchase, I personally don't see them doing that as far as to get something else on their side to make it enticing. I think they're still going to try to cut their third-party deals, and they're just going to focus on in-house. I mean, as they've said, we want to, and even though they've retracted from it since, but they wanted to work on the bigger titles and what they know is going to work for their community. And now we know that they got all these games and behind the scenes that they're working on, the 23, 25 games that they say that they're working on, or whatever the case. So I feel like that's going to be more so the focus that they're going to really want to turn their attention to and dump their monies into. So
my good buddy Free Jack in the house, he's I gotta kind of agree with him here. I just want Xbox to have 3 or 4 releases for this E3 to next E3 calendar year. It's time for Phil to fulfill that promise. I think he's on to something there, and I said this, and even Mr. Boomstick pointed it out on his show this morning when I said on his podcast that I said, if you think about it, look at Insomniac Games. Right? Fantastic studio pumping out amazing games. Well, in what 6 years, if I'm correct, in 6 years, they've done Sunset Overdrive, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank the remake, and now Ratchet and Clank A Rift Apart. Amazing games, amazing looking games, and all within a short period of time. And we haven't seen hardly anything from most of Xbox Studios. So something's up. Like you got, so like if they can do it, the question is, why aren't more studios doing that? Did they not have the resources? Did they not have the finances? Did they not have big enough teams? Why the wait? I mean, yes, you can chalk up a lot of it to COVID, but I keep getting from the people, well, the ink just dried on the contracts. Like, come on, these companies had games in the works. Did they not long before Microsoft locked them down? You telling me they just started from scratch when the contracts dried? I don't think so. So what is going on? Was it the hardware shift? Were they waiting for the tools? What is the deal? Why are things so late? I mean, to me personally, and I'm still going to stand by this, the Xbox Series X launch to me was the lamest console launch in Microsoft's collective history compared to what you saw for the Xbox, the 360. Even the Xbox One had way more to show at launch, at least from the internal side of things, than the Xbox Series X. Yes, we had games to play. We had the third-party support. But when the frig ever has and I'm not saying Sony's launch was amazing either, get me wrong, but when has a first-party company really launched and really had nothing major from their own studios to showcase their own console? But anyway, getting off track. Pong, you come in here on this E3, man. What do you think we're going to see? What would you like to see, and any surprises?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hyped. I'm the little kid, right? I'm always going to be the little kid. I refuse to lower my expectations. I'm never going to tell anybody else what they need to do for themselves, but for me, I'm always going to come in hyped. Like I've tried to temper my expectations in the past, and I always fail miserably. So I come into this E3 more hyped than I have been in a long time, and it's for the simple fact that yes, there's going to be a lot of stuff that we don't see that if COVID never happened, we would be seeing this year. There's a lot of it, right? But at the same time, there is so much content coming out now in the industry as a whole that there is no reason that I I simply cannot come into this without being really, really excited for this show, because I think everybody is going to have something special to surprise us with. I think really last year being the year that it was, and nobody got an E3, and there was even talk about whether or not we need E3 anymore, and there was all that going on, and what's its place in the industry. I think last year showed people why you need E3. I think that the little shows that everybody put on, some of them good, some of them not so good, really proved that you need to put the spotlight on the industry for a major showing at least once a year. And I think E3 is perfect for that. And I think with the way E3 is doing it this year, and they're really going for the worldwide audience, not that they don't, but this year there's really putting a focus on it since everything is going to be digital. They're going to try to spread as much of this news across the entire globe as they possibly can. And I think that's huge for the industry as a whole, because that's where we're at now. This is a worldwide industry. So E3 for me is Christmas. You said it in the chat, Noof. It is Christmas for the gaming community. And I think this year proves out to show why. Now, as far as Xbox goes, again, this is going to be me personally. And again, I don't obviously know anything. I'm an old gamer who's been just gaming for a long time and watched the industry from the outside. But I think personally for me, I want Xbox to go nuclear this year. Okay. I want them to walk off this stage as much as possible. I want them to walk away from this E3 showing the world. Again, if the $7.5 billion acquisition of ZeniMax didn't tell you, I want them to show the world that they mean business, okay? And I want them to come out guns blazing. So expect Halo Infinite, huge showcase, showing all the reasons why people need to be hyped about this. Make everybody forget about Craig. And again, I know a lot of people out there. Didn't care. A lot of people love the gameplay. Again, I'm a casual Halo fan. I'm not a fanatic, but I'm excited for Halo. But for all those super fans out there, I want them coming away with their head held high going, yes, this is the Halo we were looking for. And for all the other people out there who were kind of on the fence, I want them jumping over the fence and saying, you know what, I can't wait until November or whenever it releases, because I'm going to dive into Halo, especially since they're talking about making this a 10-year plan for Halo Infinite. They got to show why that's going to be feasible. They got to show why people need to be excited for the next 10 years of Halo. And I think they're going to do that. And I think they're going to do it in spades when they come out. I think we're going to get the gameplay. I think we're going to get the multiplayer. And I think they're going to probably drop a beta date at some point as well during the show. So I think Halo Infinite obviously is your target. Starfield. Now, again, I'm dying on my hill. Starfield 2021. I'm gasping my last. I'm gasping my last breath, but I don't care. I think that, again, I want to see it for my own reasons. I'm selfish. I'm a gamer. I want Starfield. I'm a God Howard fan, and I cannot wait for this being as one of his new babies. But I think we're going to see Starfield. If it's 2022, I don't know if it'll be a full blown showcase like it would have been if it's 2021. They might trim it a little bit, save some stuff for later in the year. When they get closer to giving us an actual date in 2022. But I think we're still going to see it, which is going to be fantastic. I think we'll probably see some gameplay and give us a better idea of exactly what Starfield is, because it's a major IP for Microsoft and Xbox going forward, now that they are a first-party studio. So I can't wait to see that as well. Then I think that you've got potential to see some stuff, again, that's some surprises. Clobriel tweeted out yesterday or the day before that he knows of 5 new AAA IPs that nobody knows about yet that are ready to be talked about. Now, he said that that's still in flux, and things can change, obviously, as they make their decisions, but 5 brand new AAAs, right? That's a lot in any given year. So I think we might see Wolfenstein 3 if they're ready. Now, they could have been, Machine Games could have been hit by COVID and might have pushed it back a little bit further. But I think we might see a glimpse of Wolfenstein 3 if that's what they've been working on. Again, the assumption is that they are, because they got to finish that that trilogy. So I'm excited for Wolfenstein 3. I think we're going to get that Forza Horizon 5, Mexico, definitely coming this year. I think that's part of their plan, and I think that's ready to rock and roll, especially it'll be cross-gen. I don't think that's an issue. I think that'll get out the door. And then I think we're going to see a lot of the smaller titles that we've been looking forward to, like Stalker 2, Tunic, Scorn, more, we might even see a little bit more of the Ascent before it launches at E3. But I think they're going to go into those smaller 12 minutes. That's another big one that everybody's been waiting on. I think we're going to see those smaller ones. And then you bring in the third-party deals. Now, this is where things get interesting. Behind the scenes, we know Microsoft has been driving the Brinks truck around all over the world and dropping off money. And we know this, right? We've seen some of it already. But what they haven't shown us is probably the bigger part of the iceberg. And I think we start to get a glimpse of that this E3. And I think that if Starfield is pushed and they're coming in this holiday with Halo and Forza, I think the gaps are going to be filled in by the rest of the big third-party stuff. And I think we get Battlefield 6 on the Xbox stage. I think they announced that it's Game Pass day and date. I think they make that deal, and I think they get that. That's going to be a big win. And then you got some possibilities of some other things that we haven't really heard of. I don't think the Kojima deal gets done in time, so I don't think we see that there. But I think, Noof, and you alluded this to in chat as well, and I know it's a long shot, but I've got a gut feeling about this one. I think they're doing a deal with Ubisoft. And I think we're going to hear about, first of all, Ubisoft Plus coming into Game Pass in whatever form that is. Right. And I think that's going to be a huge deal. And then I think we get a teaser, Noof, where the lights go out and there's nothing but a black screen. And you just hear the night goggles turn on. And I think I've got a gut. You're
high, man.
I think so. I think so.
My God,
I think we get Splinter Cell back funded by Xbox and Microsoft. I think it's a done deal. Oh no, it's beautiful.
Explain me that fucking feeling, how it is to be that goddamn high. I have to know.
Titan,
I can barely see you from down here, man.
Titan, when it comes to fruition, I'll come back on the show and you can tell me how right I was. Okay,
but I don't see you.
I hope Tony's right. That's all I'll say. I hope he's right on this one because we all would love it, and it's the franchise that's been ignored far too long.
It has, but I think overall, Noof, I think again, I don't know if Xbox is gonna go all out. I don't know if they can. I think they it just depends what's available. Hellblade 2, I think has been hit too hard with COVID. I don't think that shows up. So again, there's going to be a lot of stuff missing that we would have expected in a normal year. But you know what? We got Nintendo there. Nintendo will probably show some cool stuff. PlayStation isn't going to be there, but obviously, we're getting this week, they're getting a state of play about Horizon Forbidden West, and I think they're going to have some other stuff, with the Summer Game Fest. So I think we're going to see some cool stuff from Sony as well. They're obviously in the mix. We've already heard about Final Fantasy getting another new IP exclusive made by Team Ninja. Square Enix show has been leaked, so I think we're going to hear more about that. Microsoft could have some deals with Square too. Nothing major like Sony does, but I think we could see some stuff there. And then obviously, again, with the list of people that are going to be there, I think we're just really headed for some really, really good stuff this year. I think E3's back, and I think a lot of companies want to show off all this money that's flowing into the industry right now, and the popularity of gaming in general is at its highest point ever. And I think we're going to see some of the rewards from that this E3. So I'm hyped.
Yeah. Awesome, man. That was a great take. Now we're going to get Titan in, but let's catch up with the chat real quick. Hey, Rico Dennis is in the house. Iceman LMH, what's going on? Dave Folker, what's happening? Fun speculations, hanging out with Free Jack, Assassin, Loop, Pure Flack Monkey. Fastback is in the house. HTK was here earlier. Hey, we got 108 Dragons TV.
Hey.
It just got lit up in here. All right. Yes, we got a great crew in here tonight. We got 57 watching live. Good stuff, guys. Tryhard still hanging out with us. Good show, guys. Good stuff. You guys are the unsung MVPs. Right on. We're going to get Titan's take on this, and I can't wait to jump in because I definitely got some good thoughts on it myself. Most people say we're not going to see a fun speculation. Thinks we're going to see a new Splinter Cell. Spider-Man in the chat says no. He's been saying that for years. We ain't seeing Splinter Cell. Put your pants back on. It's not happening. So we'll see what happens. We would love it. It's kind of weird, when fans love it and they've openly said on podcast after podcast, we want to see it come back, and Ubisoft ignores it, but still makes their 150th Assassin's Creed game. You're like, is there something wrong with Sam Fisher? Did Sam Fisher shit in your executive office or something? Did he stick to fucking, did he spy on your mom and take videos of her and plant them on the internet? What the fuck is going on with Splinter Cell? Like, why is there no love for essentially your biggest franchise outside of Assassin's Creed? I mean, that's what I want to know. Obviously, that last one probably didn't sell like gangbusters, and I'd say that was largely because, one, people were a little bit upset that Michael Ironside didn't voice the game, and two, it came out right at sort of the end of the 360 era, PS3 era, and I think by then it was just overshadowed. People were getting the new hardware, all that sort of stuff, and it was just kind of overlooked, but it was still a pretty damn good game. So that was Blacklist. Splinter Cell Blacklist. If you haven't played it, is backwards compatible, so go check that out. All right, let's go Titan Drago. I'm interested to see what your take is from Microsoft and what you would like to see.
Well, well, don't expect me just, to follow up every gamer's pipe dream with the 10 happy endings that Pong just gave us, okay?
That's your problem, brother. That's your problem.
Jesus. Pong, I think I could jerk off to your imaginative E3 predictions later on.
Look, part of the question was, what do you want to see there? Did you not listen to the question, Smitin'? Come on now. Are you playing Smite in the background or what? You didn't listen. He said, what do you want to see there? That was part of it.
He's just jealous because you got happy endings.
Correct.
He's right.
I like when people hate excitement. It's always fun.
I'm not, I am jealous that you're that high, but here's the thing. So there's good and there's bad to this, right? Like, because let me get this out of the way. If you guys in the chat don't take my word as law, you're literally doing yourself a disservice, okay? Seriously, since 2017, I have not missed a beat. Go back and check every fucking tape you hear, and this is going back before my my real debut on podcasts and things, where I'm just talking with Dealer and Colt in an Xbox party chat. Like, we had a lot of really deep conversations about, and this was back last gen, in 2017 and stuff. Talking about everything that is going to happen, the predictions, this and that. I called the Xbox controller not changing. All right. I said this thing is freaking damn near to perfection. They're not going to change it. And what did they do? They added one button, right? A capture button, which was a good update, but literally the rest of the controller has pretty much stayed the same. There are so many things that I called, and now let me tell you what I've heard from around. Like, I've heard from multiple sources, okay, and I'm sure you guys have heard from a couple of those, but even the people who don't get like overhyped, they don't like to temper their expectations. Even those people are saying that this E3 is the one time that you could feel safe not to temper those expectations, because this E3 right here, it's supposedly number one. Okay. So with hearing that, right, if you're not blown away, no matter what your hype level is, no matter if you're, where I'm at or where someone in the gutter is or where fucking Pong is way the fuck up here, no matter where you are, if you're not blown away by this Xbox's E3, you might want to consider like a new hobby, because, it doesn't seem like this is tickling your fancy anymore. All right. So that's kind of like the expectation, okay, that has been set. Now, feeling that, right, is when you're looking at it from a fanboy's perspective, right? And this goes to that, what do you call it? what's his name? The dude on the meme, Craig.
Right.
This is a shout out to Craig. Now, if you're editing this video, because I agree with what Pong Soul said about the Halo Infinite, it needs a great showing, needs to be edited. And here's the thing, it needs to be edited with a fine-tooth comb, because if the editor doesn't do that, then they don't care about like the Xbox brand's kind of face, right? Because when whoever edited that last goddamn video and put it out to the world and thought that was good needs to be fired. You're not good at your job. You failed at impressing. And I'm telling you guys this, 90% of the ugliness of what we saw, right? We can't erase Craig's face, but 90% of the other ugliness can be solved with simple editing, okay? And I don't even have that many videos out on my YouTube channel, but I learned a lot about editing while I did those. All right. The other thing I agreed with what you guys said was the WB acquisition. Okay. That would be amazing. And I'm going to tell you this right now. If they were able to keep that info sealed, all right, imagine what the pressure of that lid, right? Just to get out in the world. Like, that would make my personal E3 a 10 out of 10. Like, I can't ask for anything more than Microsoft to spend $10 billion on a WB acquisition or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't, if they make that acquisition, you got to look at, like, because they're going to show games. They're going to show, all these games we've been hearing about. And it's kind of in the details of what everyone else wants. Like, you may want to see more Starfield gameplay, and Noof may want to just, he might be happy with just seeing, a CGI trailer of Starfield. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but the point is, that's all going to be there. And the icing on the cake is really the acquisitions. And I don't think Xbox has been given enough props in the for even the Bethesda. Like, it's Bethesda. Like, I don't think WB is bigger than Bethesda, but I'm gonna tell you what. Out of all the other ones, like acquirable, they're the only ones that I guess could be considered on that level. But suppose there's all the AAA IPs that no one knows about. Right. I don't know. I personally, another thing I would like to see is the Stalker 2. I want to see that game all its glory, and I want to release date on Stalker 2 for sure. What do you think, Noof?
Yeah. Well, man, like my thoughts on it all, brothers, like this. Here's the things we know we're going to see. No brainer, Halo, obviously, and that has to be big. If there's anything else they have to nail out of the park, they got to get Halo. They have to leave that, they have to leave a good taste in their mouths with Halo this time, because it's going to be months away. It was supposed to be the flagship title for last year, and I think that they will. I think for the most part, Halo is going to come out. But either which way, no matter what they do with this Halo, there's going to be a level of people ready to hate on it. Okay, we've seen that with every Halo right up to this point, where you got some people that love the additions and all of the changes, and people that absolutely hate it. There's still people out there that think Sprint should not exist in Halo, all those things, and that's never going to change. So some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. I think more people will love it. I think Halo has evolved. I think it will continue to evolve. And I think that we've seen enough already with just some screen captures to know that they kind of went back, really overhauled the graphics engine, added a lot of lighting and textures and things to make this game look shinier than ever. Will it be the true E3 or sort of the Xbox Series X showcase title maybe we hope for? I don't know yet. But that's one of the things I hope that Microsoft does do. I hope in the last year or so or over the last while, since the Xbox Series X was basically a thing and dev kits started going out, that maybe they have at least one of their studios, a very talented studio, who's going to bring out a game. It might be a couple years out, but they show us a game that really lights the world on fire, that really pushes the envelope, that sort of gets rid of this narrative that, you got 12 teraflops, but it can't even do, but my games on PS4 look better.
Well, Noof, are you saying Starfield could be that game, or
no?
I
don't think so. Generally? No, Starfield won't be that game. I don't think it will. I don't think anything from Bethesda will be that game, especially if they're using some of their older game engines from the past. If there's any game I think that would definitely rocket from Bethesda, like graphically to me, the best looking game so far from Bethesda have come from id Software and the guys
Right.
at Machine Games with Wolfenstein and Doom. Those games that
Yeah.
look absolutely incredible. Stuff like the Elder Scrolls and stuff, while decent, have definitely shown their age. Even Fallout doesn't necessarily look amazing. It looks great. It gets the job done.
Mhm.
But I'm thinking like one of Microsoft's internal studios, whether it be somebody, we obviously know that Ninja Theory, they're very talented, and I'm pretty sure that Senua, Hellblade 2 is going to look absolutely dynamite.
Did you
And that
see those
technically
cloud
is it.
animations today, Noof? Did
Yeah.
you see
I
the cloud
briefly
animation?
did.
Oh,
Briefly.
wow. Yeah, if it game looks anything like that, yeah, Ninja Theory is definitely going to
Yeah.
knock it.
Look
But
at
they
how
need-
much
they
thought
need
they're
that.
putting into in the clouds, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But they need that. Do you guys know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they need
Yeah.
they
No,
need a
absolutely.
graphical showcase, a game that really
Halo,
stands
bring me
out,
those clouds.
right? Halo is always going to be Halo's always going to be subjective because Halo is set in a sci-fi universe where it's not necessarily based around reality. So when you're judging those games, it's harder. Like if you look at The Last of Us, those graphics are amazing, but The Last of Us is still based around reality, like real people, real environments, real world scenarios that we know and are familiar with. When you're doing sci-fi, there's a lot of interpretation of what it should look like because everything's alien. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
that tree looks like a real tree and it's very detailed. But like when you go inside ships in Halo, sometimes you go inside those closed environments, you kind of like they look really good, but they look kind of like barren and void because again they're aliens, so it's really hard to say, you know what I mean? But like I'm talking about like next level facial animations and facial graphics, and that's where some of those games still tend to falter, and that's something that Naughty Dog has done very, very well, and no studio from Xbox yet has been quite up to task in terms of that animation, those facial graphics looking like almost photorealistic, like that's one of the things that was made fun of a lot with Halo Infinite is that like you look at the guy, the pilot guy, he looked okay, but he didn't even look as good as, The Last of Us kind of facial stuff. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying, but they need a showcase. Hellblade probably is, but I don't know how much of that we're going to see. I think that game is still significantly a little ways out. But I definitely think that's what they need. I definitely think there's something up. It's either going to be another studio acquisition. I just don't know how. I don't know if they're going to go all that big. If they're going to go in with something at Warner, that would be cool. We've heard lots of rumors, but it could be something on a smaller scale. I definitely think they're going to drop some big news related to Game Pass, whatever that might be, but it'll be big news. And I definitely think that, Gears is good. Yeah, Gears is pretty close. I would say Gears is definitely close to Shizno. You're not wrong about that. Gears is definitely, especially the last game, their facial animations and graphics certainly came a long ways from even 4. If you go back and look at 4, 5 was way up there in that, of course, the DLC. So yes, the Coalition definitely has that capability, and I think that the next Gears game, because it'll be built based around new hardware as opposed to the last, I think we're going to, and it'll probably be built on, I think they've already said it's going to be built on Unreal 5. So the next Gears game will probably look absolutely outstanding, but we won't hear nothing about Gears for a while. So yeah, that's, and I think, like I said, there could be something up with the Kojima thing. I really think there is. Whether they're bringing him on in terms of one of their studios or he's got a project that they're going to fund, but I definitely think there's something funny up with Kojima that gets perhaps announced at this show. We've seen time and time again that Microsoft wants to get in on the floor, especially in the Japanese market, and they need something to dig in there, and there's very few names any bigger almost across the world than Kojima. Whether you love the guy or you hate the guy, that's irrelevant. You have to admit that he's popular, he's eccentric.
It's irrelevant. Come on, man.
Hey, but you gotta admit,
it's not.
if he comes out on the stage and they're like, "Yeah, we're welcoming Kojima and his latest project, Titan," like I said, I know you're probably not digging it. I'm not digging it either.
No, and you're right. I'm not.
But it's gonna be
I'm not
big.
digging it at all.
For a lot of fans, it's gonna be big. I think my other panel members here would probably agree.
Yes, absolutely, of course.
Yeah, I mean,
Jeff Keighley will go nuts.
I mean, it's one of those things, man. As much as you may not like the man, you have to at least acknowledge the hype behind his name. You know what I mean? He is a huge name within the industry. And anybody that gets a project, anybody that passes off a project to him is definitely it gets looked at. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's important. And I think overall we're going to see more of that Eastern
influence that Phil obviously has been putting time and effort into. So don't count out, knew if you were talking about some, developers pushing some of the graphical envelopes. Don't sleep on some of the South Korean and Chinese developers that are up and coming right now. Some of their games, Steele and I have been taking a look at them. There are some games out there with some real talent behind them that are going to surprise some people. And I don't doubt that Phil and his team have their eye that way as well. So,
you know what Kojima is to me?
What is he to you? Your stepdad?
Kojima to me, he's a one-hit fucking wonder, man. He's a fucking band in the 90s that made one fucking hit. Now you don't know who the fuck they are.
But that's a pretty big hit. That's a pretty big hit, Titan.
It is. That's why one-hit wonder.
It's a pretty big hit, and I would say too.
We're not taking away from that hit.
I would say too, because you're forgetting Silent Hill in there as well. So you got Silent Hill and Metal Gear. That's some pretty big hitters.
Yeah.
Silent Hill is like the the second song on the album that's all right. that gets a little bit more credit because the first song was so good.
Wow. Wow. The disrespect.
Hey, Mike Mullet is in the chat. What's going on, Mr. Mike Mullet? Yeah, Mr. Mullet says, what's going on, Original Lex Level Gaming? Glad to be here. Slow-mo backslap is in the chat. Terrence Tate is up in the house. Fastback. Yobi. Yeah, Dragonheart Yobi. What's going on, brother? Axel 1324. My brother's in the house. Yeah, great crew here, guys. Look, I'm just going to end it off on this. Show is pretty much probably going to start with Halo. It's going to be a very Halo-focused show because this has to be the game it was supposed to be last year. I think it will largely live up to that. It's going to be a very Bethesda-focused show. Microsoft's going to want to show off why they invested $7 billion with Mr. God Howard and company. We will probably see perhaps a new Wolfenstein game, if nothing else, and perhaps a new IP or something there. Starfield will most likely at least get some sort of a date. I don't think it's coming out this year. I'll have to disagree with that one. I think it will slip to early 2022. But the big focus, I think, for Microsoft this year is to make sure Halo is successful and that they set up the console for next year. Because right now, one of the biggest problems they have outside of anything gaming is the fact that still are millions of people around the world that can't get their hands on an Xbox Series X or S. They're going to need to get that supply in check. They're going to want those in the console's hands. Release 20 games this year is not going to do you any good, right? You can only sell so many games and so many Game Pass subscriptions to people that don't have a medium to play it on. So they got to get those things out. I suspect it won't be until early 2022 before we start seeing a bit of a glut of consoles on the shelves when kind of COVID starts to dwindle down. So that's what I really think we're going to see a large focus on that. And of course, Forza will probably be back. We'll probably see the Horizon series this year, maybe a little inkling about what's happened with Forza 8. And I think that will be a large part. I don't think it's going to be the hugest Xbox show, but I think it's going to be very solid. And Phil has said numerous times he's excited about the games we haven't seen yet. So there will definitely be some new IPs dropping. You can mark my words. We're going to see a couple, maybe 3, maybe not many more than 3, but I definitely think we'll see 2, possibly 3 new IPs, things in the work, and hopefully some sort of dates for next year. And they definitely need to come with sort of, like I said, that gameplay. They got to stop with just the CGI shit from games that are miles and miles out. I mean, Phil said before he doesn't like showing off games that are years away, but they need to show something now to make you excited, to feel like you've made that proper investment in Xbox once again, and that for next year, whatever happens this year, you can go into next year feeling very comfortable where they're heading, and that they have that roadmap is very clear. And we can expect a fantastic 2022 out of Xbox, perhaps one of their biggest and best years ever. So that's what I think is going to go down.
Hey, real quick for a little breaking news for all of our audience out there. Just in case, nothing major, but in case it's a mistake and you want to hop on this real quick, Wario just tweeted out NBA 2K21, the Mamba Forever edition, the big edition that includes everything is $10 right now. On Xbox Live. So that's $100 edition. So anybody who's interested, go grab it.
Well, that is kind of big news.
Yeah.
Big news for a little price. Get on it, the Mamba edition.
That's right.
That's insane.
All right.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Damn. All right. Love the thoughts. Any further comments, thoughts about Xbox? I mean, at the end of the day, guys, just go into it with a grain of salt and just be excited. It's going to be exciting. The games will come. They're going to come in droves. Xbox Game Pass is set up to be absolutely dynamite heading into the future. Even for me that don't have it doesn't mean I'm not excited about the rest of you guys who have it and will be excited about the games you're gonna see there. So,
and look at it this way: this is technically another E3 that PlayStation is not taking part of, and Xbox is. That's 2. Okay. After all this time, and Xbox is going to bring it like never before, and PlayStation's going to put out a tweet that they're going to do quote unquote hundreds of events during the year when they actually do 3. All right. 3 fucking, and they count a fucking van in Philadelphia as a fucking event. My God. Get me the hell off this topic before I lose my mind.
Oh, Titan, you got to remove the pulse controller from your bum, sir. That's good stuff, boys. Great topics there.
Getting that haptic feedback.
Normally around this time we would probably be doing Titan segment Drago's Corner. So Titan, let us know what's up with that.
All right, so no Drago's Corner this week, but we have a new contender, and I wanted to use this week to kind of introduce him, okay?
Okay.
So you're not going to see him this week, but maybe next week you will. And the new alter ego I introduce to you all, the One Time.
That's the name, the One Time?
Damn right, Noof. I'm the One Time. You know why they call me the One Time?
I don't know.
Why do they call you One Time?
Take a guess. Why do you think they call me the One Time?
Because you're going to
not
bust
the
a nut
2
one
time, like that 2-bit scrub on what the hell's he streaming on now? YouTube? What is this, amateur hour? That's right. The One Time, because I am the one-time champion. There's only one champion, and that's the last one. I'm referring to the 1995 Video Game Championship, if you guys don't know. And I'm also referring to a certain Dr. Disrespect who calls him the 2-time. Well, guess what? I'm the one motherfucker that beat him the next year, okay?
Okay.
Oh.
So I'll see you in Drago's Corner. Probably crying like little babies, wish you never came to talk to me. Wish you never heard my voice before, but hey, that's okay. You know what? You're going to take your beating. You're going to take your bruises, and you're going to move on, and it's going to make you stronger.
I thought you were going to introduce us to Dr. Dick Erect.
Dick Erect. Listen to yourself. Noof, I'm going to get out of here before I drag you in my corner here and knock you the hell out, okay?
I'll get in your corner.
I'll see you soon, buddy.
I'll leave some flatulence in there for you. I'm good at that.
I smelled it when I walked in. Don't you worry.
Oh, shit. Good
That's
stuff,
funny.
guys. Yes, next week, indeed. The One Time. Titan Drago's Corner, guys. Don't miss. It's going to be good. Plus, Mag will be back in 5 form next week. So, Tony Baloney always got something to go on there. All right. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff.
I got tired of losing, so I got to bring in, the backups.
Hey, you got one win, man. It's better than none. It was against Ernie, too. So, how
more
about that?
More wins than Arnie's got, right?
That's right. More wins than Ernie got. Yeah. Not sure about that cerebral Paul one. That was pretty close.
One stroke and Titan blows.
Oh, shit, guys. Awesome stuff. All right, let's move on to the next topic tonight. Sniper Contracts 2 delayed on the PlayStation 5 due to a technical issue. My question is this a random problem or a sign of bigger issues with the hardware? This is the second or third article I think we've seen in a week where games running on PlayStation 5 hardware were having some technical issues. So anybody can take the floor in this one. How do you feel about that? I mean, some people don't even care about Sniper Ghost Contracts or whatever the hell that game is called. I have the last one and it's okay, but it didn't set the world on fire. but it is coming out for all the consoles, and it is delayed for PS5 again due to technical reasons, they say. So anybody have any, at least speculation on what's going on here?
I think the biggest thing that's probably going on is the same thing of the issue that we're having with Biomutant. They may be coming across something to where the PlayStation isn't doing the back compat very well. I mean, that's the same issue that they were kind of having with Biomutant. I know a lot of people were, I'm not gonna say a lot. There were a few people who are actually blaming the devs for the reasons that Biomutant came out the way that it did, at least for the PS5, where they're saying it's 1080p being upscaled to 4K. A lot of people can't tell the difference anyway. So I never understood why that's such a big deal. But I'd imagine that that's probably the biggest reason that why they're having issues. Is that because they can't get to a lock 1080 60 maybe 14, or the PlayStation 5 doesn't do 1440p, but or a 4K option. That's what it seems like to be the biggest thing. It's with PlayStation saying that they're going to support their current gen consoles for the next 3 years. We're only a little over half a year, about to be into this new console generation. You're going to continuously see, at least on the Xbox side, that games, at least again for current gen games, are going to continually improve and outperform games that are they're going to outperform the games on the competitor system, and it's just what it is. I see Infinite say to try to be messy, but it's not. I'm not trying to be messy. I'm stating, and that's just stating facts. Xbox took their time with the back compat. They've been working on it since 2013.
Yep.
With even in the Xbox 360 generation, they made it a point to where when you moved into your Xbox One gen, that your games are going to move forward with you. And we see that play just get, just the roots. We see the roots get deeper and deeper and deeper as we move throughout the years. Like I say on Living Split Screen all the time. Shout out to the homie Everborn, that gaming is art, right? And it should be treated as such. The fact that Sony said that they believed in generations, quote unquote, they weren't planning on supporting your last generation consoles, your console games. That wasn't their plan, but they had to make it their plan because Xbox made it their plan. And if you're going to, if Xbox has said they're going to support their system for the next 2 years, I mean, it'll probably be a little longer than that. We know how these console generations go. And then Sony comes out and said they're going to do it for 3, and we know that Sony has not ever taken their backwards compatibility serious since around the PlayStation 2, 3 era. It's becoming a problem. Sony wants you to spend the top dollars for the games. They want to move technology forward. They want to move gaming forward, quote unquote. So I feel like that's probably where a lot of these issues are coming from. It's just when they're trying to play the games through the backwards compatibility, whatever the case, it might not be running well, might not be running at a good resolution, especially if you're going to make it available on the next gen consoles. People are going to have a certain expectation, especially with everybody being so quote unquote technically savvy, or being the hardware experts, as we like to say. People are looking at even the little crumbs, zooming into things 1,000%, looking at little pixels in the corner and saying, "Oh, it's not good enough." So that's possibly why they're running into issues. But who knows? That's probably my thoughts on it. It's another example of what the difference in the back compat systems and what has actually been placed into the hardware. As much as people try to make fun of tools and everything else, whatever the case might be, we're seeing it in live action. So at least
there you go. Rain spitting the facts out here, boys. All right, who else wants to jump in on this and give your interpretation?
Well, I would say back compat is definitely a part of the problem. But I wouldn't even say that that's the main problem with all this. I would say that's a rung in a tall ass fucking ladder. Okay, like Noof, when you posted this fucking topic in the chat, I said, "What in the hell?" I said to myself, Noof, I said, "Are you serious?" Like, How many problems can be random? What's the fucking max stat of console problems that's allowable to be called random? Okay, that's the fucking question I got for you, man. Because let me tell you, we fucking surpassed that fucking max stat. Okay, even on a fucking OP god character that you fucking made in Morrowind or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's fucking a kill. The max stat has been, oh my God, surpassed so long ago. And people, honestly, anyone listening right now, my Xbox fan badge is down. Okay, I'm putting it down right now. Okay, it's on the ground. I'm pointing at it. All right. My following statement is coming from you strictly from an intelligent person with no two shits given about anything. Okay. Without a care about anyone's fucking feelings. I don't give a fuck about anyone's feelings. I don't care about any console, but I'm just going to tell you the facts that the PS5 is it's the worst designed console, and I'm putting it way above the PS3. When they changed the cell processor, all this and that. Mm-hmm. PS3 is a large reason they can't do back compat. Because of the way they set that up, they didn't do they didn't do the right. They went a different way with architecture. But I'm telling you, that fucking white piece of fucking pussy flat plastic that you got, that's basically a ticking time bomb if it hasn't melted already. If you don't see problems with it already, count your fucking self lucky. How many problems now have we seen from this, Noof? We've heard about. I want to say like 20 different problems. The M.2, we've talked about how many fucking rants do I got to go on this fucking podcast about all the PlayStation issues on the goddamn console. If I feel like I'm doing it every week, So
can somebody send this man a PS5?
It'll start artifacting the first day. I know it. But so Noof, like, please interject on me right now. Like, answer some of my questions I had, or give me your thoughts about and what, maybe try to counteract like where I'm coming from.
I'm not a technician, but I think if you're a PlayStation owner and a PlayStation fan, I don't think there's reason to fret and worry about it, because honestly, a lot of this stuff, just like Xbox had problems, is usually fixable several months later with a patch. I mean, obviously, it's just like we heard when some of the developers struggled with Xbox at the gate on certain games. It was a lot of it just not having the proper development tools. It depends on where you start too. Like maybe they started development with a certain console in mind and then switched over. I mean, even Cool Cat Terry the other day shared something with us. One of her indie devs guys is trying to do cross-platform stuff. Right, crossplay, right? And you see a picture with 4 or 5 different rigs all hooked up to the TV, and basically the point was, this shit might seem simple because we sit down and press a button and play the goddamn games, but it's not. It's a lot of fucking coding and a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes to get this shit to run. So like I won't sit here and try to act like I'm an armchair dev and I know exactly what goes on behind the scenes and how many teams it takes to transition a game from one console to the other. There's a lot of similarities, but there's also some various differences as well. And I mean, I like, honest to God, like even like it's a Biomutant, it's a 1080p, whatever, it runs at 60 frames. At the end of the day, as long as it performs good, the resolution we can live without. Sure, it's great if it hits the 4K. I'm all for it, but like to me, it's not a make or break issue. And again, I think with this as well, you don't want to blow these articles out of proportion, because again, 2 or 3 weeks later, patch comes out. They figured a few of the bugs out. Again, we're dealing with teams that don't even have the ability to really sit down with each other to go through a lot of debug kits and different things. So I'm not trying to defend all this stuff, but I'm just saying, like, you can't blow it out of proportion, because at the end of the day as well, I think we all know that the PS5, while designed a little bit differently, is still a very powerful and capable console. So that's where I stand on that matter.
Okay.
Powerful and capable console. I got to disagree on the capable part. I mean, it's not capable of fucking expanding M.2 right now. It's not capable of fucking, like, how many artifact problems have we seen? It's not capable. and this is early in the generation. That's what I think a lot of fucking people are kind of forgetting about, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are making fun of Xbox with all these tools, like you said. I think it was Still Rain, and we're starting to see, that come to fruition already. Like, and let me tell you, the tools haven't even really started to show up.
Right.
And the people that are making fun of the tools are just, I don't know, living in la la land, pretending that everything's okay, pretending these problems don't exist, pretending they're fucking not deleting games and reinstalling games, if they got more than fucking 5 games on their console.
Yeah, but my point is, a lot of these articles, a lot of the times, they're no more than fucking bait to start a console war shit. That's no more than anything else, right? Pong, why don't you jump in and have your 2 cents worth on this?
When it comes to this stuff, Steel hit it spot on with as far as what Microsoft did in the past to get to this point right here. Now, especially with the backwards compatibility stuff, that makes it possible and makes it easier for devs to obviously do certain games, especially the previous gen games, which Microsoft, a lot of people were questioning why Microsoft, kind of pushed the capabilities of 120 frames in the One X when they came out with the One X, because the One X, really couldn't do that, but they pushed the devs to make sure that they kind of, kept the games uncapped. So thinking for the future, knowing that the series consoles were possibly going to be as powerful as they were, that they would be able to take advantage of the new technology when it went to old games. As we always know, every generation we see this especially at the beginning, right? We see this transition period where we get a lot of previous gen games and cross-gen games. And Microsoft was thinking that far in advance to know that, hey, if we're going to do this, and we know that at the beginning of the generation, we're going to have a lot of developers that are putting out games that may be old gen games right at the end that can play better on our new hardware, and that can be a selling point for our customers. Let's do that. And that's what they did. Now, Sony goes their own route. They always have. And we've heard a lot of smoke about what happened at Sony, about whether whether the PS5 was actually going to come out in 2019. And then they found out what, Microsoft was doing. And so all of a sudden they said, whoa, we're going to be way behind. Yeah, we're going to be early, but tech-wise, we're going to be way behind. They overclocked the GPUs, all that kind of stuff. They kind of went back to the drawing board real quick and mashed together the PS5. And again, I'm not going to throw shade, because the PS5 is certainly a capable machine. But the point
quit using that word capable.
It is, but it is Titan. But it is Titan.
Run games.
Titan.
Shit, man.
Titan.
Look at all the ways that it's incapable.
Titan. And I don't disagree with you. What I'm saying is that's what you get when you rush a job like this, right?
Well, yeah,
and right. But I'm saying it is a capable machine because it can produce some high quality stuff. Now, again, like you're talking about, Titan, I totally 100% agree with you that the fan base is not speaking up on that side of things when it comes to the PS5. I had the digital edition pre-ordered. I had it in my hands. I turned around and sold it because I decided that, first of all, money-wise, it wasn't worth it for me to have at this point. And I didn't want to sit there and have it collect dust like a lot of people's are. I'm more than happy with my series console. I have so many games to play, I don't know what to do with. But again, the PS5, at the end of the day, I'm happy that I did sell it, because I think that they're going to have to revise some of it, which they're already talking about.
We didn't even bring that up.
Correct. They are going to have to do something. Now, how deep they go with this revision, I guess we're going to find out, because you're going to alienate a huge portion of your fan base if all of a sudden, 2 years into the console's life, all of a sudden you're coming out with a complete revision. So I don't think they might not do that, but they got to figure out the SSD, the expansion port. They have to figure that out. That was a major selling point. They've got it in there. Why can't people use it? And that's when I say that their side of things, those fans have to start speaking up, and they turn a blind eye to this stuff a lot like Nintendo fans do a lot of the time. And so Sony gets away with it, right? And nobody calls them out. And I think that's a problem. Now, as far as the games go and what we're seeing, a lot of it it does have to do with the backwards compatibility, and exactly, you know, how much easier Xbox made it for these developers to take advantage of the new hardware, even on previous gen games. So I think that kind of solves some of it. But we have seen other symptoms that we don't know, like Noof was just talking about. You know, I'm not going to claim to be some kind of developer because I'm not, but we've heard, you know, obviously with Returnal, you know, with some of the problems there, the developer came out, you know, House Marquee came out and said, this is a Sony problem. This is not our game problem. Right. Okay, well, when you hear that, and House Marquee is as close to first party as you can get without being first party. They supposedly know the hardware inside and out. They probably got the development kits before most of the other people did.
That's why they know it's a Sony problem.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But for them to have that much time with it and to still come out with a game that they have to turn around and explain to their fans, no, this isn't all on us. This is on Sony. We've let them know the issues, and we hope to figure out some kind of way to fix it soon. Well, that's a red flag, right? That's something that says, "Whoa, wait, what's going on?" One of your in-house
that was
developers.
A definite red flag. So are you guys saying this one's a red flag as well? Then,
yeah, exactly. I definitely do. Yeah, okay. I definitely do. And again, there are red flags. Again, that's why I'm not in any rush to go buy a PS5 right now. On top of the fact that I don't need to.
That's what I was talking about. The max cap. You just put a different analogy. You use the flag. The max cap of fucking red flags has been raised. People, like,
right. Right, correct.
What do you gotta do?
I mean, but it's one of those things where you can't necessarily say, I mean, yeah, you could say it's a red flag for as far as like if you look over to what Xbox is doing, but as far as you could also say on the opposite end is red flags that Xbox hasn't put a first party game out in X amount of time. You know what I mean? It's just like there's arguments for both sides. It's kind of like
absolutely
benefit to you, and that's what you're speaking to.
Well, see, that's where it gets ridiculous. Well, they haven't had this and this and this and this. Like, my God, look at how nitpicking those people that are saying that are doing. Look at how hard they're trying to pick to fucking turn everything around on Xbox when literally right now Xbox is fucking dominating the market. Besides consoles sold, right? Which they're probably not going to win that fight anyways, no matter what they do. Just because of the simple regions, you know, and you know, and it takes time, you know. Like I'm telling you this. I've seen more messages on Twitter and people saying, "Man, Xbox has gotten me going to their side, man." And these are like people that you could tell were like mad about it for some reason or another. They didn't want to go to Xbox, but Xbox is doing so much right. It's actually drawing, you know, those half fanatics over to them.
And Titan, but that's okay. So what you're talking about, though, is going to happen when you lose the mind share. And that's what Microsoft is in the process now, is gaining that mind share back. But when you lose it as badly as they did, you're always going to have a bigger, louder, certain part of the community that does do that twisting, that does, you know, go ahead and reverse everything back and doesn't look in the mirror, but actually reverses back and said, "Oh, but you guys over here don't have any first party games," which
that's deflection.
Correct.
And that's something that just not needs to be even considered, because when you know, on your side, no games have been released that are first party in this many days. Like, how many more fucking categories you want to divide this up?
But Titan,
you realize you're ridiculous. You know.
But Titan, you also heard the real frustration. Like, again, for me, it doesn't matter because I play, again, exclusives are about 10 to 15% of my game time. The rest of it is all third party and other stuff, right? So I don't have an issue with it. But you could hear the frustration even in Noof's voice. Now, Noof's been looking for some real first party content. He was just talking about how he really wants to see what's been going on and why don't we have any of these games out of all these studios.
If it wasn't for Gears and Halo right now, I wouldn't even have an Xbox.
Right. So there's some real legitimate concern for some people out there who do look for that content that Microsoft hasn't done that yet. Again, common sense.
And
When you look
also,
at time frame wise, we all know the reasons why behind it, and a lot of those people ignore the real reasons as to why we don't have content. But at the end of the day, it still is a reality that when you look at the whole catalog, you know, it is lacking in certain areas, and that's just the reality.
all right, so content, like current content and content, all right, those are two different things. What
Sure.
we currently have, right?
Sure.
What both companies currently have are a lot of third-party deals for the most part.
Right.
Okay, that's what we're dealing with right now. Now, as far as the pipeline is concerned, let's talk about that. I would love to talk with anyone. You fucking name the fucking, you give me a fucking gamer tag or a fucking YouTube channel. I would love to talk to any motherfucker about what's coming down the pipeline when it comes to PlayStation versus Xbox. Okay, that's what I want to, I'd love to have that conversation, because I could go, we all could go on and on and on. And we could talk, we're just talking about positives all day. But the part that pisses me off is these other motherfuckers on the other side trying to rain on my goddamn parade all day.
Well, personally, the only hardware issue that they really need to address off the bat is they need to have a way to use some other hard drive storage. That's the biggest the biggest flag right now. I've heard PlayStation fans, like, they got games stored on this thing, they're running out of space really quickly, and it's very annoying. It doesn't matter how many externals you can stick a game on, if you can't, you still basically, all it does is hold the game, and then you still got to send it back over to your hard drive in the PS5. You know,
that's
so
archaic.
They need that. I don't know why they haven't even came up with a solution for that yet, but there's got to be a reason for it.
Look how long it took them. Look how long it took them to fix the changing your name on PlayStation, right? I mean, come on, man. They were behind a lot.
When you watched the PlayStation unboxing or whatever it was, when you watched that dude take it apart, right? And the moment you saw you needed a screwdriver to access the M.2 port, okay, or even to flip it on its side, like, that's a red flag right there. Like, as soon as they showed us this damn thing, before any of the news got out, it's crazy.
All right, guys. Well, I think we've killed that topic to death, and I love the banter here, the back and forth, and of course, you know, a little bit of that. Pros and cons and all that good stuff, guys. That's what sometimes a great podcasts are made of, is people just speaking their mind. And again, a lot of it's just opinions. So at the end of the day, nobody's necessarily right or wrong. It is opinion. Some of it is based around fact, but it's good stuff, good arguments. And like I said, it's up to you guys. Make an educated calculation if you want to get an Xbox or PlayStation 5. You know, that's all it is. End of the day. Let's get on to some more topics. We got a few more here before we get out of here. Real quick, this one, kind of a small topic, but just, it's interesting, especially in light of what's happened recently with Google and Stadia. Netflix, one of the biggest streaming platforms on the planet. They have billions, I think, right now. It could be hundreds of millions, maybe even in the billions in terms of subscribers. They're definitely huge. But they're contemplating getting into gaming. Is this a great idea, or is this another Stadia in the making? So I'm curious to know how you guys feel about that. I'm just going to say this, and I'll let everybody jump in. The one thing about Netflix, they have the user base straight up. I mean, Netflix right now is available on pretty much every type of platform you can think of, from your phone to your laptop to your television set to streaming devices. It's practically everywhere. If they make a gaming service and say they come up with a neat little Stadia-like controller to go along with it, I definitely think there's somebody that you can't necessarily count them out, is all I'm going to say. I think they've already got the infrastructure in place better, perhaps, than Google Stadia. It just depends on the kind of games they want to bring, how much are those games going to be, the type of exclusives that Netflix might be, whether that's investing in their own studios and making their own content. Again, so many question marks here. Hopefully they're going to look at what Google tried to do and avoid the same scenarios. But how do you guys feel about it? For me, it doesn't matter. I'm not buying in regardless. You guys all know how I feel about streaming shit. So yeah, for me, it's a big no. But let's see how the rest feels. Who wants to take the floor on this one?
I'll hit it real quick and then
You
I'll come
tap
back
it. Go
around.
ahead.
So real quick, let's just ask a simple question. Who's got more money? All right, Netflix or Google? Let's play this game, okay? Who's got more money? All right, Google is all but bowed out of this already, right? They said they're going to create some games. They realized what the hell effort that took and the and the money it took to get invested in that, and they shut that shit down real quick. Now, if you talked about the infrastructure, maybe Netflix is their infrastructure is already set up for them. Well, how good, right? Google Stadia, they created that, and they created something pretty impressive if you look at it. Being able to stream, games at different qualities, without anything in your living room, with a controller.
Mm-hmm.
And how well did that infrastructure that they created work out for them? Right?
Mm-hmm.
How could Netflix possibly make that infrastructure? They're going to use Google's fucking servers? They're going to use their, Are they going to team up Netflix and Google maybe? That would be the only reason I could see them even trying to continue like a partnership, because Google's already bowed out. Netflix, I don't even think anything will become of this personally. What do you guys think?
For me, is it something that could be possible? Maybe, but is it likely? I don't think so. With Google, with Netflix only having about a capital of what I looked up, it was about 30 billion, maybe. And then you compare that to the likes of Google, whose capital is about 450 billion, and then you can step it up a step further to Amazon, who's worth almost 1.7 trillion. I feel like at this point, Netflix would be a little bit out of their league, especially trying to follow up behind something like Stadia, like you were saying, Titan. If Google's already at a point like after the whole ZeniMax acquisition with Xbox, we're like, after that, that's probably the biggest reason why we had to kind of bow out for now, because we don't know what else to do. We thought we could just jump in here. It would take a year to make a game, and we could make something out of that. Not knowing, which I don't understand, not knowing that games take 4 to 5 years. You have to take a loss up front if you're going to jump into this gaming industry. For Microsoft, they've taken the loss, and they've been taking the loss since 2013 all the way into 2017 when they finally launched Game Pass. That's why Game Pass is working, because they've taken the loss, and they continue to take the loss and invest. But Microsoft is also a $2 trillion company, and they can afford to do that. The only other runner-up would be Amazon. So what, is Netflix going to partner up with Amazon? Are you going to come, shake hands with your competitor and say, what are we going to do? I don't think so. For me, I feel like Netflix needs to stay in their lane as far as like make sure they put out consistent content on their own platform, because they just recently got to a point where they're putting out consistent content for you to say, of course, this entire time I've had Netflix, I've never thought twice about canceling it. It's just one of those things where you keep it and you forget about it. It's the same thing with Game Pass and all the other sub-services that you may be subscribed to. But it's like up till here within the last few years, I don't even think about the content that's on Netflix, because every time that I go, not like I watch TV like that for real either, but every time that I go, there's something else that's there. But again, for somebody that doesn't watch TV, and for somebody that may watch TV all the time, they may be sitting there asking themselves, what else is Netflix doing for me? Because you can binge the movies. You can binge the shows typically on Netflix. And once you get done with that, then what? That's part of the reason why I know a lot of people hate it, but that's why Disney Plus was releasing Mandalorian episodes week by week. It wasn't, it could have been part of partially because they were, getting the episodes done episode at a time, whatever the case. I highly doubt that. They probably had it all done and wanted to make sure that you were going to stay in the subservice.
Yeah,
How do I
for
do
sure.
that? By extending how long I release these episodes to you. So Netflix is definitely, I feel like if there is any kind of inkling for some truth to this, Netflix is just kind of out of pocket right now. They don't have the necessary capital to make the investments to even jump in. It'll be like the whole Google situation, except a lot worse. Now, could they do something like GameFly, where GameFly is still around? People still get their games through GameFly, so you could team up with them. But again, are you wanting to shake hands with your competitor? But at the same time, it kind of puts another thought in my mind. Is that really your competitor, though? That would be more worth getting into and really kind of investing at that point with that, because it's already established and they already have a system in place to distribute games and everything else. But again, as far as like really stepping into it on a cloud infrastructure side, I think Netflix is way out of their lane and out of pocket. So as of right now, at least.
Nice. Yeah, it's hard to break into the industry. They all seem to think that it's easy. They can just throw money at it and everything's just going to fall into place. But you know, you're going up against a very established companies with, you know, and it's hard enough now to enjoy all three, like Nintendo, Xbox, but they all sort of each do something uniquely different. And again, established brands that have been at gaming for a long time. Like, I think the only place where Netflix might stand a bit of a chance might be trying to get in on the mobile market kind of deal with a bunch of, games there. But again, it all comes out, and they might bundle something in. It could be like Netflix, and then you pay an extra $2 or $3 a month, and it'll be like an Xbox Ultimate subscription where you pay a few extra bucks, and all of a sudden you get some games. And that's probably the smartest way to do it, because then people might be enticed to go, oh, what's this game that Netflix has here? You know, because they did put out, what was it, the Stranger Things? They had the Stranger Things game come out, and it did fairly well as a little game that just came out, last year or whatever it was. You know, little, you guys seen that little isometric 16-bit
it was good.
throwback?
I actually played around with it for a bit. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, not bad, right?
Yeah.
So just think about, some of the properties they're working with, because you got to give Netflix credit. They, when it comes to their movies and the people that they have starring in their movies, like, they're throwing a lot of money at a lot of things. So, they know there's a lot of competition out there, and they're fighting hard to keep that audience, because Disney's coming for that buck, and HBO's coming for that buck, and Amazon's coming for that buck. But that's what I'm saying. Like, trying to get into gaming is a totally different beast. And they're going to need something very enticing and a plan that's very affordable. Otherwise, people just ain't going to give a crap.
Yeah. And before Pong jumps real quick, Pong, I don't mean to interrupt.
Dude, go right ahead, brother.
The biggest reason, and I'm not like a super numbers guy, because at the end of the day, it's all about gaming, the gaming industry, what's all going on. But the biggest reason, like, I like to refer to the numbers when we talk about these companies and what's possible, because you see companies like Microsoft who had to invest all this money to get to where they're at now. The only reason why Microsoft and Xbox is relevant is because of Game Pass. If it wasn't for Game Pass, what other laurels does Xbox have to stand on? Sure, you're going to have your core base or whatever the case might be, but other than that, you have nothing else to offer. Nobody else can make that move into the same space without taking the losses. And that's the biggest reason for bringing those numbers up, because people, even though they always like, oh, well, this person, these people can do this and this and that. No, they can't. Right now, just looking at the situation overall, like, just looming overhead, it's almost seems impossible for a company like Netflix to even think about jumping into it unless they partnered with somebody. So
no, that's exactly it, Steele, and that's exactly where I was going, was the whole partnership thing. I think Noof hit it, and you hit it there, Steele, and I think Victor Alistine in the chat is hitting it, is that this would be more of a partnership situation instead of a direct competition. This would be using what is already out there, such as Game Pass, to break into the games industry, because like you alluded to, Noof, everybody thinks they can do this, and we've already found out that that's not the case, right? People think that this game industry is easy, and it certainly certainly isn't, right? Google found out the hard way. You can't just jump in, form a studio, and think you're going to pop out a game in a year and a half. That's just not going to happen. Now, what Netflix could start to do would be to start cultivating talent, start bringing in some talent, maybe form 1 or 2 studios, try some smaller games with some of the IPs that they currently own. Create some smaller, like, maybe Devolver Digital style games, some smaller budget style games, and then get them onto a service like Game Pass, right? And see how they do and start to form that way. But as far as a direct competitor to anything, I can never see that happen. Right. But from Netflix point of view, from a business point of view, of course, it'd be great if they start to diversify for them. They're so wrapped up in the movie content and they've dominated for so long, to be able to branch out a little bit and grab another piece of media content and kind of spread your wings a little bit with some gaming development. Sure, absolutely, go for it, do it. If you're willing to invest and willing to wait the time necessary, just from their standpoint, they have to look at the failures that we've seen recently and then take a step back and go, okay, are we in this for the long haul? Because we might create a studio, we might gather a whole lot of big name talent with all of our money, but at the end of the day, we might still wind up with a game that's unsuccessful. Are we okay with that? Right? Are we here just to dip our toes in the water, or are we going to try to wade in a little bit and see what we can come up with? And that's the big difference. Google was obviously dipping their toes, right? They do that quite frequently for a lot of different reasons. They test the waters in a lot of different areas, and a lot of times they pull right back out and say, nope, not for us, but they gain knowledge, right? And sometimes they use that knowledge in other divisions. That's, Google's huge. Google's gigantic. So they do that for a lot of different reasons. But at the end of the day, if Netflix was to do this, they would have to be absolutely serious about it. They would have to wade in. I'm not talking about diving into the deep end, but they would have to wade in far enough and say, okay, we're going to put together a studio here, a studio there. We're going to try to put together a couple games. If they don't work out, that's okay. We understand that this isn't that easy, and we're going to keep trying because we think we could add some value and make some money as an investment, with services, partnering with services like Game Pass, and go from there. That's where I see them succeeding.
I'm tired of these companies acting like they're goddamn NFL expansion teams. Okay.
Hey, Titan. They see the money, Titan. They see the dollars. You know that. Yeah. They have
to. And they're like, hey, let's just set up shop in California, and they think they're going to immediately grab all these fans.
Yeah. No.
If you did your studying, if you looked at if you looked on Twitter at all, you'll notice that your target audience, they already have their dedications. They already have. They're hard to impress. They nitpick everything, right?
See, Netflix is going about this all wrong. You know how Netflix could make it this huge? Instead of trying to be a direct competitor, why not, like someone said in the chat, why not team up with Microsoft? And basically, when you get your Netflix subscription, you pay an extra $5 a month, and you get fucking jump in on Game Pass.
That would be dope.
Of some sort.
Or
with the amount of people, with the amount of people using Netflix across the world on their phones and stuff, and with, of course, Xbox pushing so much money into cloud gaming and stuff, that would be even smarter, because that would be a boost for Xbox, because it'd be like instant advertising for the brand, and and Netflix would make even more money or help retain a lot of subscriptions, because they'd be throwing even more value in there, and they could still make game content, and they could make it exclusive for like Xbox/Netflix subscribers, where you'd get access to something. Like, honest to God, like if that's the way they went, I could see it being a win-win for both companies, instead of them going like, I'm going to be a direct competitor to you, and then not fucking be able to like I said, like last
laughable.
Last as long as a fucking as a
virgin.
Last as long as a virgin and a whorehouse. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. Hey, Victor Alessine in the chat, dropping $5. He says, great discussions. Any input on Warner Brothers? Salute to the panel. Salute to you, Mr. Alessine. Thanks for being here, man. Terrence Tate's in the house. Dragons TV. We had All Day Digital up in here tonight. What is going all day? Acute Perspective. Kylo Milo. Man, great people in the chat. Chase Jones is here. What's going on, Chase? Cool Cat Terry is in the house. My co-panel member from Good Morning Xbox. Good stuff, guys. Great people here tonight. Any further thoughts on this? Didn't mean to cut anybody off there.
No, all right, I'm good.
I think everybody had very valid points tonight on this, and I think we all feel pretty much the same on Netflix that they're barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah, at least right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
fact.
Yeah. If they're going to try to go toe to
right now.
toe. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, I think if any company stands more of a chance, might come to the point when consoles essentially don't exist. When everybody starts moving to the streaming gaming, and we know that like the 5G networks are more established and people have reliable internet, they might stand a better chance. But you can't as well get in and convince people to get your content if you don't have exclusive content, reasons to buy your service over another. That was one of the problems at Google. They relied on third-party games to sell or not the console, but their service. And what were the third-party games? Assassin's Creed Odyssey, or the games that we already had on Xbox and PlayStation. So why am I going to go switch? I'm going to pay another how many bucks a month to play the same game on your platform with no infrastructure? Like, how do you set up game chats, or how do you have parties? Did they have any of that? So I don't know. I never used one, but yeah. Hey, still here lurking is Mike Mullis. What's going on? Psychonauts in the house. Fastback. What's going on? Pure Flack Monkey. What's going on, dudes? RG Viper X. Amazon has a chance. Well, I guess they all have a chance, but yeah, pretty slim fucking chance. Go for it.
Better start swinging punches. You got to punch to win a fight.
All right, guys, good stuff. Well, I think we've hit all of our topics for tonight. Real quick, I suppose one last one we can get out of here. Hey, Virtua Fighter is finally coming back. Virtua Fighter 5. That's right, guys. The Showdown is coming back, but unfortunately, it's exclusive for PlayStation 4. It's getting a complete engine overhaul, apparently a new graphic overhaul. They're making it on some other engine. I think it is. It looks a lot better than I can remember it looking in the past. I'm sure it will play just as well. It's a franchise I know a lot of fighting fans wish would come back, and it's too bad. Yes, it is coming back, but just for the PS4. No word about PS5, and definitely no word on whether it will come to Xbox perhaps in the future. How do you guys feel about any Virtua Fighter fans in the house? I know I love the franchise, and I would like to see it come back at like a number 6, but kind of disappointing. Like that's we had Street Fighter 5, now Virtua Fighter 5 kind of getting that exclusive treatment there.
Yeah. Sony's throwing around the bag, right? So, but I hope it's successful. I hope it's successful because I want to see them make 6 and 6 as a, obviously fresh, brand new, current gen style game. That's what I'd rather see on Xbox eventually anyways. But obviously we have no idea how long, Sony may have locked this up for. Maybe they're testing the waters a little bit here, but again, is it disappointing? Absolutely. I'd love to play Virtual Fighter again. But obviously, at the end of the day, if it results in Virtual Fighter coming back in some form in a brand new one, I'm all for it. Because absolutely, I miss this franchise. It's a classic. It's one of my favorites from back in the day. And I'd love to see it make a return to the big time for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for me, myself, Virtual Fighter would be cool and all. I've always been more of like a Tekken fan or whatever the case might be. I mean, it's always cool to see fighters make a comeback, especially when they've been around for so long, because they're always good party games, get online, beat a couple of your friends up or whatever the case might be, and kind of keep it moving on. Them locking it up, it could be a bigger play for them for Evo. Again, there's a lot of things that they're trying to tie in to make sure that they're taking advantage of everything that they're investing in. Sony has always been strong with fighters, so it only makes sense to me that they would try to lock it up. And I can see them doing that with any potential fighter. I mean, Guilty Gear Strive is another one of that's also been kind of locked up.
We need Guilty Gear. We need Guilty Gear, the brother.
Yeah, we do. Fortunately enough, I'll be able to get it on the PC side of things. But I feel like locking down fighters to a specific console is extremely corny to me. Just because fighters are very dependent on a player base, and when you limit that player base, that's overall the bigger problem. I mean, you could say, oh, well, you could just buy that console or whatever the case. It's like, look, I can understand you saying that when it's something like Spider-Man or whatever, cool. We got to have our exclusives. But when it comes, like nowadays, especially when it comes to fighting games, if you want your fighters to stay alive, you want the people to continue to reiterate on them. Like we'll never get a Tekken 8 if y'all aren't going to support Tekken 7, for example. You know what I mean? Or they'll just take their time releasing the game because why? I mean, it's like you're playing Tekken 7 right now and not the best quality. It doesn't look that great on your Xbox. You know what I mean? And it really looks like a turn off. It's a turn off. I don't know if anybody's kind of went back and kind of looked at it. And it's like, why hasn't that gotten an upgrade? Why? Because people aren't asking for it. It's like they're not as popular as they used to be at one point. Again, I'm just locking it off to a console. I feel like it's just corny, man. But it is what it is, you know?
Pong, so I see you gave whatever you were smoking earlier. You gave it to Free Jack. Free Jack, Free Jack says gaming is a huge market. They can all coexist.
Yeah.
Holy perfect world, Free Jack. There's a reason why we don't see the Ouya anymore, or the Sega, Dreamcast, and all this. I wish they could all coexist, maybe in heaven.
That's
or
right,
something.
Man. There's a reason they bring out strippers one at a time, and they put the ugly ones up front, man. They can't all fit on the same stage, and you're gonna keep looking at the best ones.
So true, right. So true.
Right.
Free Jack.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to bring us to the end of the show. Unless there are further thoughts or opinions before we get out of here, we have crossed the 2-hour mark. You're doing fantastic, and this has been a dynamite podcast and a dynamite chat. What is going on? We got Papa Woody in the house. I knew we heard the pop. There we go. Good stuff, guys. You've been hanging out with us. 60 odd people in the chat. Most of you have been here for the entire show. Thank you so much for your support. It is definitely appreciated, and we definitely recognize that you're here, guys. We know the names. We see the faces. Cute Perspective. What's up, Kyle Milo? Like I said, Chef Trouble in here, Princess Zelda, Infinite, maybe the good crew in here tonight. Thanks for stopping by. Even if, like I said, for those who catch the replay, thank you. For those who even just got to stop by to say hi, for those dropping the super chats, again, double thank you. The support is greatly appreciated. And, no matter how long you do this, it kind of still kind of blows your mind that people come out, listen to you, just spiel games. And stuff. Yeah, it's just craziness. But we love you, love where we're heading. We love doing Gaming After Dark. This was a phenomenal panel with guests tonight. Again, we miss Mag, but he'll be back next week, and we look forward to Titan when he brings back another episode of Drago's Corner. Should be fun. Good stuff. Emmanuel A1, thanks for being here, brother. Thank you so much. Let's get out of here, and let's start with our two phenomenal guests who are part of the Living Split Screen podcast on Saturday mornings. I'm going to let them explain more about that. Make sure you go subscribe to their channel, guys. They are creeping up there every little bit, every bit along the way, but they've only been doing this now, what, guys? A couple of months, is it now? Maybe.
Yeah, episode 9. We're on episode 10.
Yep. So there you go. So I'll let you guys do it, and let's start with the man I introduced first in here tonight, Mr. Steel Rain. Brother, where can people catch up with you and all that is happening in your content creation world?
Look, man, new Titan again. I just appreciate you for asking us to be on it, at least this time, man. It's a great experience just to get on here, just kick it, and just kind of be free flowing. Tonight, I feel like I wasn't as strong as I would have liked to have been, but it's all right. We overall still had a good time. Again, I appreciate the love, and I appreciate you guys just for asking us to come on. Hey, Steel Rain, the T is a 7. You can type it in anywhere, and you will find me, whether it be Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever the case might be, PC. And then Friday nights, you can find me on the GRG podcast, 8 p.m. Central, where we just kick it. We've got a fantastic group of guys and gals. We just get together, talk all things gaming. Most of the time, we tend to be a little more Xbox centric, but at the same time, we're just gamers recognizing game and just kicking it to y'all with the facts and just having a good time. We usually bring a lot of smoke in there too, so just come in there, maybe wear a mask or something so you don't pass out. But and then Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, and then 3 p.m. UK time, you can find me and Pong Soul on the Living Split Screen morning show. I try not to call it a podcast because overall, Living Split Screen is just an overall thing. We try to keep it, we're not console eccentric. We talk about everything that's going on in the gaming industry, that's going on with the community, maybe even our personal thoughts. And just make sure that we focus on helping people understand gaming and just blowing it up to not just our singular community, but all the communities, trying to touch everybody and giving it to you that live, raw, and uncut energy, authentic, just come check us out, man. We love to see you in the chat. And other than that, man, that's pretty much it for me. Come hit me up, hit me on the DMs if you want to talk, have questions, or hit me up in the party chat, man.
Perfect name for that. If you ever change the podcast to go into something like Gaming After Dark, do it nighttime and call yourself the Circumcised Podcast. Live, rock.
That's funny.
Circumcised Gaming. I cut above the rest.
Jesus.
Just had to take it that step further.
Yeah. Pong Soul, brother. Let people know
Yes.
where they can catch up with you and all that you have happening. You've been a busy guy on a lot of different shows as well. So let people know.
Absolutely. You can find me Pong Soul everywhere, whether it's on Xbox or Twitter. Noof Titan, thank you so much for inviting myself back and obviously having my brother from another Steel as well tonight, and obviously having Living Split Screen here with Gaming After Dark. This is always one of my favorite shows. You know that, Noof. Been listening to you for a long time. Mag, missed you tonight, brother. I hope you feel better and hope to see you back real soon. But otherwise, man, what a great show. What a great time tonight. You can find me Friday nights. You got to have 2 tabs open because at the same time as GRG and Steel Rain are talking, I'm over on Xbox Ultimate with Fun Speculation, aka Mav, who was in the chat tonight, his beautiful wife, Caitlin, and the rest of the Magnificent Seven. We got the show all Xbox all the time, and we just have a great time over there. So get 2 tabs up just like I do. I'm always in multiple shows. Do it. I don't care if you don't listen, just be there. It's a fun time. And then Saturday mornings, like I can't do it any better than Steel does, but man, come see us. We are looking to be the adult version of Saturday cartoons for the community. We are looking to just, wake you up in the morning and give you something to talk about. And that's what Steel and I like to do. Again, just him and I, we get the chat involved and we just sit there and talk, and our shows go over 2 hours somehow, some way, as if you can't tell, we like that sound of our own voices. So we talk a lot, but him and I free flow and we just talk about whatever. So come check us out Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern time, 9 a.m. Central time, 3 p.m. UK time. That's Living Split Screen, all one word. Saturday nights, you can find me on the Shop Podcast with PTK, Blam, Fuzzy Belvedere, Centurion, and Staggerilla. A great show, short show, just a little bit over an hour. PTK has been knocking out of the park with guests lately. It's a great time. 9 p.m. Eastern time, 8 o'clock Central time. Come check us out, the Shop Podcast. And then Tuesdays, I am back at it with Xbox Factor Podcast in the afternoon, early morning, depending on where you are, with Mr. Boomstick and Zemi Games. And that's Tuesdays, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central time. Always a great time. Of course, you know how Mr. Boomstick does it. Just a great member of the community. Love the guy. So thank you all again, chat. You guys were amazing, and we'll talk to you all real soon.
Yeah. I've been having trouble getting, notorious guests to come on the show. They've heard through the grapevine that I fart too much. So
that's awesome.
There you go. A big shout out to the one, the only amazing Assassin Lupa in the chat. Yes, everybody's favorite lady of gaming. Yes, always turns up in support. She is awesome, and I will never forget playing It Takes Two with her, because that was one of the best experiences I've had in 2021. Has been playing that game with her. We had a fun ride, man. That was great stuff. So, and all right, let's let our panel member, our full-time panel member, Mr. Titan Drago, the man who brings the common back to sense. And who gets that award tonight, Titan? And let people know where they can catch up with you.
Everything at Titan Drago. Pawn Steel, great having you guys on. You guys made it easy tonight. I was just, it's easy to go back and forth with you guys. But other than that, Doggy Dog is my common sense winner of the week tonight. And you know what? I got to start keeping track of how many wins that I give away, so we can have like a champion at like the end of a season or something like that. And maybe I'll throw something their way. But I think that would be fun. So I'll start keeping track from now on. This will be like the I'll start keeping track with Doggy Dog.
Listen carefully. Oh, damn it.
Wow. Is that one wet? You got to wipe?
He said it was that one.
I don't even know what words to say next. I guess I guess we'll consider this like the Super Bowl era of GAD, so we can start keeping track. So until next week, everybody, don't do what Noof just did. Instead, let's bring the common back to sense.
That's right. With me, it's not the Super Bowl. Every week is a Super Hole. That's right. 1, 2, 3, hut out my butt. And there we go.
Jesus.
All right. Right through the uprights and out my pants. There we go. That was a ball flump. Crazy. All right. All right, and obviously, yes, the middle-aged game guy couldn't be here with us, but he's here with us in spirit. Just wasn't a bit under the weather, I think, so to speak. So, yes, he won't be. He will be back next week. He's already told me how excited he will be to be back. So it's going to be a fun time. Can't wait to see Tony Baloney. He always has more to say when he takes a week out of action, so that's always good. Like I said, guys, fantastic chat. You were awesome. Make sure you catch up with Pong and Steel for a living split screen. It's a great show on Saturday mornings. It's always great to get up with a hot cup of coffee, sit down to these guys as they they give you the latest and greatest on gaming and everything else and all that good stuff, guys. And we appreciate them being here. And this won't be their last. We'll have them back soon. Who knows? Maybe they'll be coming on here as we get closer to E3. There'll be lots of topics to jump in and talk about all that sort of stuff. And you guys know where to find me. It's Noof Nukem pretty much everywhere. Noof Nukem, Xbox Live, Nukem Nukem 76 on the PlayStation Network. Yes, I play multi-platforms, people. And yes, and also this podcast Tuesday nights. You're already here, so you already know about this one. But check out my new one with Good Morning Xbox on Sunday mornings, starting at 9 Eastern, and that would be 7 a.m. in my neck of the woods out in Mountain Time. It's a nice little podcast. It is definitely more PG. It's a show for everybody, but we are Xbox centric in general. But we have some great panel members, some awesome segments. And so far, we've had 3 solid weeks that people have definitely been very receptive to and had lots of comments and compliments on. So we appreciate that love and support for that new podcast. DJ Berto Doss showing some love before we leave the house. He drops $2 and says, boom, boom, kaboom. Yes, we are leaving the room with a big boom indeed. And this Saturday night, we're going to try to do another community game night. And it looks like I've got one game in mind so far. If anybody has another suggestion, greatly appreciate it. But I'm going to try Need for Speed Hot Pursuit again, the remaster. I think, if I'm correct, is that on Game Pass now or no? Does anyone know if that one's out?
Need for Speed Hot
Pursuit?
I don't think.
It is not.
Ah, darn it. Okay. So I want to do that game. If I can't get enough for that, perhaps Joyride Turbo, which is always a fun kart racer that should be on Game Pass if I'm correct, and it's dirt cheap if not. With the old Xbox Live arcade game, it's like Mario Kart, but you can use your actual Xbox avatar, so that's a lot of fun. So that's what I plan to do is that game, and I'll pick another one here in the next day or so. But hopefully see a good turnout. Last week was a little bit.
Well, you did it on VR.
I did. That was but on Saturday night we did Titanfall 2. We carried over from Mr. Tushy and crew, and we had a pretty small turnout compared to other weeks when we've done Titanfall. So maybe everybody's just playing new games. I don't know. But Joe Dummer, I'm doing an ugly chick Saturday night. Well, you go for that, Joe. Just bring a bag. That's all. That's all you need. Just a bag. Right? Bring a bag and some pit stick, because you never know when shit's going to get messy, right?
Yep. Play smartly, man. Yeah.
Rub a little on the inside of her thighs in case the fish sticks come out.
Just don't swing the bat too fast, Check
right.
swing.
Shit. All right, guys, we'll be back here again, like I said, next week. Check it out. Anyway, have a great night, everybody. Stay safe. Have fun. Game on.
Later, all.
Facts.